If it's Thursday, it's time for the Fall Creek Plumbing National Series presented by Mystic Racing League. I'm Johnny Rapp, and I'm joined in the Slingshot TV booth tonight by Chris Smith. Tonight we head to Talladega for the United Reynolds 250. Dega, as fans affectionately call it, is not just the longest oval on the NASCAR circuit at 2.66 miles. It's a place where speed, spectacle, and superstition collide. Its massive layout allows cars to reach blistering speeds, made all the more intense by the pack-style racing and the infamous big one that can strike without warning. The story of Talladega begins with NASCAR founder Bill France Sr., who originally envisioned a superspeedway even larger than Daytona. He scouted sites in North Carolina, Atlanta, Birmingham, anywhere along the I-20 corridor, but nothing clicked. Eventually, he landed on an abandoned airfield in Lincoln, Alabama, and transformed it into Alabama International Motor Speedway, which officially opened on September 13th, 1969. It was rebranded as Talladega Superspeedway in the 1980s, and since then, it's become the stuff of NASCAR legend. But Talladega's legacy isn't built on speed alone. Over the decades, the track has developed a reputation for the eerie, the unexplained, and the downright chilling. Whispers of a curse have followed the speedway for years. Some say it was built on sacred Native American land. That myth only grew stronger during the 1973 Talladega 500, when, not long after the tragic death of Rookie of the Year Larry Smith, veteran driver Bobby Isaac was abruptly pulled into the pits, climbed out of his car, and declared he was done racing for good. His reason? A mysterious voice told him to stop. He listened. So Chris, there's just something about this place, whether it's the thunder of the draft or something a little more supernatural. Talladega always delivers the unexpected. With 80 white-knuckle laps ahead, these drivers are going to need courage, composure, and maybe even a little help from the racing gods if they want to make it through the chaos. What are you expecting to...
Well, Johnny, there's a lot on the line tonight. Playoff hopes and championship aspirations could be shattered, and this place is unforgiving. But with the wild nature of this place also comes the opportunity for surprise winners and highlight reel action. There's 85 laps around the Talladega Superspeedway tonight, 75% of the fuel available to these drivers with 5 sets of tires in the pits. Stage breaks at lap 25 and at lap 50 with one quick repair for these drivers. Who's going to find themselves in victory lane at the end of this thing? It could literally be anybody, Johnny.
I'll tell you what, we are going to find out just after we step trackside for everybody's favorite pre-race tradition, the national anthem.
Back with you live here at the virtual Talladega Superspeedway, getting ready for race number 2 of the round of 8 in the Fall Creek Plumbing National Series. And while these drivers are making their qualifying laps around this 2.66 mile behemoth superspeedway, we're going to take a look at the points coming into our race tonight. And Johnny, it is really tight. It is really close amongst our playoff drivers. As you can see right there, Jacob Cochran locked himself into the Championship 4 race at Homestead Miami Speedway in 2 weeks' time. Evan Janik sitting 22 points above the cut line. Adam Holston 16 points above the cut line. And Gavin Henson just 2 points above the cut line. And behind Gavin Henson, Johnny, there's 4 drivers that really want to punch their ticket into the Championship 4 right here. What are your thoughts right there as you look at some of those drivers? Is a driver that you feel like that maybe you got your eye on tonight to possibly get themselves into that Championship 4?
Well, I'll tell you what, if there's any place to be below that cut line coming into, it's Talladega. And I believe I picked him last week. Was it Reggie Kime that I said was going to be the kind of spoiler this week? So that's the one I'm picking tonight. And yeah, definitely it's going to be tight coming down to the end of this race.
It certainly will be. And yeah, we're going to have our eyes on the points all night long tonight. And that's going to lead us into a couple stories that we have right here. Also, we're very quickly going to talk about some of these. When you come to Talladega, Johnny, you have to avoid the big one. And one of the ways that you try to avoid the big one, avoid the big crash, is watch out for that side drafting. Side drafting definitely has its place, but maybe not in the early stages of this race. We're definitely going to be seeing a lot of drivers work together tonight. Several teams here in the Fall Creek Plumbing National Series. And drivers definitely have to get on and off of pit road very well tonight, considering that is how your time is gained and lost with green flag pit stops.
Yes, it absolutely is. And yeah, it looks like we are just about ready for our grid here tonight. If you just give me one moment to get that lined up.
You go right ahead. Yeah, and while Johnny gets that situated right here, yeah, we can tell you a little bit about the grid tonight. Our pole sitter tonight, one of those championship drivers, one of those drivers we're going to have our eyes on, sitting 8 points beneath the cut line. It's going to be Christian Barnes winning the pole tonight. Great qualifying run for that driver of the number 27. And on his outside, a newcomer here to the Fall Creek Plumbing National Series. That's David Rydell in the number 60. On the inside of row 2, you got Jeff Ryan, another newcomer. There's a lot of new names tonight here in the Fall Creek Plumbing National Series, alongside Harold Tucker on his outside in the number 79. Kenneth Cucko is going to roll off from the 5th spot, and on his outside, Brendan Reed in the number 2. On the inside of row 4, we've got Nick Ruffini in the 04 and Tyler Stevenson in that number 98 machine. Trevor Hunt is going to roll off in the number 59 from the inside of row 5, and on his outside, Tommy Ryan in that number 99 machine.
Absolutely. Starting 11th place, we have Derek Jewett in the 45 with Reggie Kime, my pick tonight, starting 12th in that number 9. And then we have Alex Pollock and Evan Janik making up row number 7. Row number 8 is going to be Aaron Espy and Stephen Gill, followed by Adam Holston and Justin Schaub. And then rounding out the row number 10 is going to be Brett Wren and Gavin Henson. And yeah, we are under pacing here. I think we'll let the rest of this play through.
And while the rest of the starting grid is flashing by on the bottom of your screen right here, you'll see these drivers, they are doubled up right here. We are going to get an extra pace lap, so I think that's going to allow us, Johnny, to possibly pull one of these championship contending drivers into the broadcast booth. Got my eyes right here on Christian Barnes, that number 27. He's got the pole tonight, so we're going to see if we can grab a quick word with him. If we can. Christian Barnes, driver of the number 27. This is the Slingshot booth. You got a copy?
Yes, sir, I do.
Man, Christian, you're getting this race off on the right foot right here in qualifying, grabbing the pole right here. You're sitting 8 points beneath the cut line. What's your strategy tonight? Are you going to try to keep that number 27 machine up in the front, or are you possibly going to maybe slide to the back right here to try to play it safe and survive until the end?
I actually told some people, I was like, if I get the pole or, you know, front row, I'm going to do my best to stay up here. If I get shuffled out, I'm just going to go straight to the back because I don't want to be mid-pack. So as long as I can stay up front, I'm going to, you know, keep it up here. But if I start falling back, you know, say 5th to 10th, I'm just going to drop all the way back just to, you know, stay out of that danger zone.
We're going to have our eyes on you all night long tonight. Do you have any concerns with a lot of new drivers here, a huge field of drivers? Do you have any concerns maybe about anybody that you're not too sure about out there?
Currently, not really. I mean, there's a few guys that, you know, we don't know, you know, what, you know, how they are, how they drive. So, you know, being around some new guys can be a little, you know, scary at times. But for the most part, as long as I'm up here, I don't got to worry about what they're doing back there.
We're excited to watch you all night long in that Domino's machine. We're going to send you back to your race chat right here. We wish you best of luck for this race tonight.
Thank you very much. Hope y'all enjoy it.
Appreciate it. That's Christian Barnes, our pole sitter tonight. He sits currently 8 points beneath the cut line in his number 27 machine. Gonna have our eyes on him. Gonna have our eyes on all of these drivers tonight, and there are a lot of new drivers here in the Fall Creek Plumbing National Series tonight. We hope that you enjoy the action. I'm Chris Smith, joined by our producer, Johnny Rapp, in the booth. Our teammate, Ellis Thomas, can't be here tonight. He's a little under the weather, so we're going to wish him a speedy recovery and hope to see him back next week for our round of 8 finale at Martinsville. But tonight, you got me and Johnny here, and Johnny, as the field works its way down the backstretch right here, halfway down the backstretch, if you're up there in those first few rows, what's your strategy? What's your game plan if you're up there near the front of this field?
Yeah, I mean, really, there's 2 ways to go about it. You want to either get up front and try to control this race, or you want to maybe hang in the back and let the chaos unfold. Those are the 2 safest places on the track. Being right in the meat in the middle is it's a dangerous game to play.
It most definitely is, and we're going to talk about how you control the lines, how you control this race tonight as this race goes on. I love going to Talladega. I love watching racing at Talladega, so we're in for a great night of racing here tonight. If you're in the chat right here, why don't you stop on by, give us, let us know who you're rooting for in the chat. Give us a like, subscribe. It doesn't cost you anything. We're so happy to have you on board tonight with us here on Slingshot TV, the Mystic Racing League, and the Fall Creek Plumbing National Series. Pace car is on pit road. That's going to put the field in the hands of Christian Barnes and David Rydell. They worked their way through the tri-oval. Barney's got the green flag in hand, and we are underway from Talladega. As we get going up through the gears right here, this number 60 machine of David Rydell is getting a little bit of a push right there. It looks like the outside got a good push going with Harold Tucker, that number 79 machine, but the inside lane is coming back. That's the 27 of Christian Barnes with a push from the 28 of Jeff Ryan right behind him. The field is still double file. No 3-wide action at this point. Everybody minding their P's and Q's. Halfway down the backstretch, working their way into turn number 3. A little bit of push right there on that outside lane. Everybody keeping it nice and calm right here. Don't see a lot of very aggressive side drafting early on here, Johnny.
Yeah, definitely. Kind of surprising that top line is kind of falling back. It's normally where you want to be, but right now, just maybe a little bit disconnected. As we saw a little bit of a moment there on the inside. I believe that is the 28 of Jeff Ryan got a little bit out of line. They're able to gather it back up, but still 2x2. That outside line is kind of coming back. And yes, so far so good.
Yeah, so far so good. They're looking real good, real smooth right there. That was Jeff Ryan in that number 28 on the inside right there. But he seems to have gotten it back in order, gotten it back in line. And he is tucked up right behind Christian Barnes trying to deliver a push. You heard Johnny mention a little bit about controlling the lines, trying to control the race. And I think that's what these drivers here who are up here near the front, I think that is their goal, that is their strategy. Christian Barnes, if he can stay up there in those front 2 rows, I think he's going to feel really solid about his chances tonight. Meanwhile, you got some drivers that are maybe mired a little bit deeper in the field, maybe even towards the back of the field. Maybe some of our championship drivers, people like Caleb Hunt, who has to work his way up through the field. Reggie Kime is back there. Excuse me, Caleb Hunt has actually been eliminated from the playoffs, but Reggie Kime back there. Jacob Cochran, who has locked himself into the championship four. He's kind of riding back there, biding his time. I know he probably just wants to go for the checkered flag tonight. Where those drivers are right there. They're probably just watching all this go on in front of them and waiting for their opportunity, maybe, if one does come. But it's like they're playing the patient game back there at the back of this pack.
Yeah, it's exactly where I would want to be right now. You see, they're giving each other plenty of room back here. We saw the 10 maybe think about trying to get that third lane going, but now, Joshua Gillen is going to drop back tail end of this lead pack here, and yeah, everybody's still all together here.
Yeah, they definitely are. And meanwhile, up here at the front of this thing, we have that number 60 machine of David Rydell. David was trying to make a bid for the lead in turns 1 and 2. I've noticed he's getting a little bit more aggressive with the side drafting. He's trying to do everything he can to try to get to that right rear quarter panel of Christian Barnes to try to drag him back, trying to pack some air on that right rear spoiler. Doesn't seem like it is as big of an effect maybe in these cars as it is in the ARCA cars or in the Gen 6 cars. Man, we get some really close quarters right there. That's Harold Tucker in that 79 and the 54 of Kenneth Cucko. They got really close to each other right there in the tri-oval, but they are going to straighten it all out right there. And that outside lane seems to be coming back.
Yeah, and I think we're going to see that all night long. It's going to kind of come and go on that outside line. It depends on who you got lined up with you, whether or not you can make it really work. But we see right here, they got 3 in a row. This is going to be a huge push, and we'll see if it looks like David Riddell on the outside there, if he's going to move down to the bottom.
Oh, we got trouble! That's the 60 at Rydell. He saves it. He's down on the apron, drifting in 3 and 4, but we got more cars spinning up ahead. I saw Evan Janik involved, the 99 car involved. Several cars involved in turns 3 and 4, and that started up there near the front of the field. Derek Jewett involved, some heavy damage to that 45 machine. I'm not sure if he's going to be able to get to pit road. I think he might have to tow right here. Man, oh man, early on, Johnny. Let's go back to see if we can see what happened. I think it's going to be around that number 60 machine up ahead. Yeah, he gets turned sideways. He's on the apron, and he saved it. Meanwhile, there was some contact right there between the 28 car and the 99. And you see Evan Janik, Derek Jewett, a couple of our playoff contenders hooked into the outside wall. And I know this is incredibly frustrating for them to find themselves damaged early on right here. I do apologize. I'm not sure who that is Tommy Ryan in the 99 car. He was involved right there. And that was also the 28 of Jeff Ryan. So maybe, I'm not sure if they are related. I'm assuming that they possibly are right here. Tough break for a lot of these drivers right here. Started up there near that number 60 machine. Up there at the front. Yeah, I think Harold Tucker went to make a move to the inside and just got that number 60 car all kinds of sideways, unfortunately.
Yeah, we see everybody trying to avoid that sideways number 60, and they all just kind of come together to 45 up and over, 99 hard into the wall. Too many cars to count involved in this one.
Yeah, definitely so right there. We see some more cars involved as they came down the hill right there. If you are new to the Fall Creek Plumbing National Series here in the Mystic Racing League, then you will maybe not be as familiar with some of the league rules. They do have a quick repair in the pits. And I am looking and I'm seeing a few cars that do have meatball flags. One of them is Caleb Hunt. He was that red and white. That red and white car that we saw down on the inside. He has a meatball flag, meaning that repairs are required on that Toyota Supra. We also have Joshua Gillen in the number 10, Roll Tide on that number 10 machine. He also has a meatball flag. Actually, I take it back. He does not. He got through there, I think, pretty much unscathed. It's Evan Janik right behind him that has a meatball, along with Derek Jewett in the 45. Field making their way down pit road. Some drivers electing to fill their tanks up with fuel right here. One of those being your pole sitter, Christian Barnes, electing to fill it up right here. And Christian Barnes was in control of that race for, the opening stages of this race, but he's electing to come to pit road right here, foregoing some track position. I think that maybe he saw as much as he wanted to see up there at the front of this field, Johnny, and he, along with some others right here, looking to maybe make some extended stays on pit road to possibly be able to fall to the back of this field, or maybe he's actually getting some damage fixed on that 27 machine.
Yeah, definitely an extended stay in pit road for the number 27. Maybe fixing some damage. Maybe he just wants to be at the tail of the field so he can try to stay out of the next big one. But we see him pulling off now. He's going to be one of the last cars out of pit road that is not repairing significant damage, it looks like. So,
yeah, absolutely. And at the front of this thing right here, we've got a few drivers decided to stay out. I think that once this all shakes out, the top 14 drivers on track will be drivers who chose to stay out on the racetrack and not come to pit road, and they will be led by Brendan Reed in the number 2, and Tyler Stevenson in that number 98 machine. So a couple of newcomers here to the Fall Creek Plumbing National Series up there at the front of this thing. If you are here and you are joining us tonight, we're so proud to have you here with us right here. We got a couple people tuning in. Alex Pollock saying, "Let's go, number 92." Yeah, that's him. If you didn't know, he is number 92, and he is out there on the track right now. Joshua Gillen also on the track right here. He says, "I stopped before I even got to the wreck." Yeah, Joshua Gillen. Hey, as a Alabama fan. Big fan of that paint scheme that you got on that number 10 machine tonight. Loving seeing that thing out there on the track. If you are joining us tonight, we're very happy to have you here with us. Make sure that you chime in. Let us know who you are here rooting for tonight. Drop us a like, subscribe. Doesn't cost you anything. We're so happy to have you here. We got racing 3 nights a week here on Slingshot TV. And right here with the Fall Creek Plumbing National Series, we are in the midst of their championship battle. Field decided to take has taken, the one to go here, and they have gone past the choose cone right here, and it'll be Brendan Reed and Kenneth Cucko on the front row, leading this field down to the green flag right here. Johnny, with that early caution right here, you think that might change some people's mentalities, some people's thoughts about how they approach the rest of this race?
yeah, I think it has to a little bit because, first of all, you had a lot of cars that probably took their fast repair there, and a lot of other ones that got quite a bit of damage. So you want to try to avoid that, and that might have been a little bit of a wake-up call for everybody to kind of give a little bit more room. I know it's kind of a unfortunate circumstance that kind of started that, but the leaders trying to clear down in front of the pack after the outside line finally worked, but yeah, definitely something to learn from, and watch out for in the upcoming laps.
We certainly will, and just to give all of our viewers at home a little bit of an update, top 14 decided to stay out on the track right there with Brendan Reed and Kenneth Cucko currently making up the first row. And we do have 2 drivers who are currently not on the lead lap, Derek Jewett and Stephen Gill. Jewett 1 lap down, Stephen Gill 2 laps down. As long as they can maintain, or if if Derek Jewett can maintain that position that he is in, he will be eligible for the lucky dog here at the lap 25 stage break. Field working its way into the tri-oval right here. Field's going to be in the hands of that number 2 machine of Brendan Reed, Kenneth Cucko on his outside. They're entering that United Rentals restart zone. Green flag is in the air. We're back underway at Talladega.
Yeah, great start from that inside line. Brandon Reed and Tyler Stevenson. Looks like they're going to have a huge gap behind them. And, man, that could be trouble because that outside line is 3 deep, bumper to bumper. We're going to see them with potentially a huge run down the backstretch here.
Yeah, it looks like that top lane getting a little bit organized right here down the backstretch. Kenneth Cucko right there, along with the push from Nick Ruffini. Ruffini is going to be pushing that 51. Oh, it looks like Jacob Cochran looking to the outside. He had aspirations maybe of making it 3 wide entering turn 3, but decided better of it. We've already had 1 caution, he thought, and maybe we don't need to have another one right here, right this second. Field getting doubled up again now. Inside lane coming back right here. That's Tyler Stevenson in that number 98, that Red Bull machine. He was given a good push to the number 2 of Brendan Reed. One car up on the outside. That's Jacob Cochran going up the middle right there. They're going to hang out Nick Ruffini on that outside. And Johnny, he has very little help. Except, well, it looks like the 51 of Kenneth Guckos decided he's going to go with Ruffini in the 04.
Yeah, definitely hung them out to dry, and that 2-car tandem is nothing compared to that full line of cars on the inside. They're going to be relegated to the back of this pack before long, but yeah, it looks like they're starting to be able to settle that out once they once the 77 of Zach White gets by him here and back to 2 wide. But yeah, definitely not where you want to be, unless maybe it is. Maybe you want to go to the back of the pack, and maybe that was a strategic choice. But
yeah, meanwhile, we're right here. We're double file right here in the tri-oval. That's the 84. That's your current points leader. That's Jacob Cochran. Already secured himself into the championship race at Homestead Miami Speedway in 2 weeks' time. He's getting a push from Gavin Henson in that number 39 machine. Henson is one of those drivers. Ooh, and that was really close right there as they exited turn 2. Henson's looking up the middle. 3 wide is really close right there between them. I think he decided to breathe it right there and get back in line. Gavin Henson is one of those drivers, Johnny, that, we've been, thinking that he is on the cusp of victory lane. He was really close at Atlanta a few weeks back. That's the race that really comes to mind for me. Another drafting style track, and here he is up here at the front of this thing. Not surprised to see him pushing Jacob Cochran right here as they're trying to take the lead on the outside.
yeah, certainly knocking on the door of a win, and yeah, putting himself in great position as of right now to hold down this race as we're just about halfway through stage number 1. Yeah, that 84 of Cochran on the outside, getting a bumper full of Henson, and yeah.
Yeah, he's definitely being aggressive with the pushing right there. He's not afraid to put the bumper in. Oh, that's really close right there. Those 2 drivers right down in front of Brendan Reed in that number 2. That was close right there as they enter turn 3. But they wanted to get to the bottom right there, and that's going to open the door on the outside. Here comes last night's winner in the truck series here in the Mystic Racing League. That's Brad T. Nelson, but Brad is now going to be the one that's going to be hung out, and he's going to be hung in the middle. That's a push on the outside. That's Aaron Espy with Zach White in the 77 pushing him. And meanwhile, you don't see them really get hung in the middle as often. Brad T. Nelson is sliding back right here, but those 2 drivers that cleared him right there, White and Espy, they might jump down to the middle, and they are, and that might be the saving grace for Brad T. Nelson. Is now all of a sudden, Johnny, we're 3 by 3 by 3 at the front of this thing.
Yeah, this is exactly what you want to see here, and I'll tell you what, that number 51 and the 04 have kind of made it back into the fray here after dropping all the way back on that outside earlier. It looks like they're going to fall off just a little bit again, but definitely, I think they're locked into that outside line, and you're going to see them up there every chance they get.
Yeah, absolutely. Doing a great job right there is that 51 and that 04. A lot of dicing going on here in the pack. These drivers right here, they're running pretty close to each other. Down there, that's Aaron Espy in that number 16 machine. Aaron's somebody that you always have to contend with on any track, but especially on a super speedway. Ooh, is Zach... no, I'm sorry. That was not Zach White. That was actually Gavin Henson looking to the inside of Jacob Cochran. Start to see some drivers, Johnny, that are kind of poking out, especially those drivers who are pushing, possibly trying to get some clean air to that nose. Tell us about the challenges of that, especially if you are one of those pushers.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's you kind of leave the your life in the hands of the cars, and if you're on the bottom, the hands of the car in the middle, because they can crowd you, and if you stick your nose up there to cool it off, it can start a chain reaction kind of wreck. And another thing to note is if you're on the high side, like if you see the 51 here, he's right up against the wall. There's no room for the 04 to pull out and cool his car off.
Yeah, not much margin for error for that machine right there. The 04 of Nick Ruffini. Ruffini has done a really nice job of he and Kenneth Coco being real steady up there on that outside lane, running pretty tight together up there. And it's just been the two of them right here for the last few laps, and they're doing a really nice job right here. They are kind of sliding back here the moment that we started to talk about them, but yeah, they're hanging in there pretty well right there, as Brad T. Nelson maybe has some aspirations to jump out in front of them, but I think he decided not to. Riding on board with Ruffini right here, and this camera right here, Johnny, is on top of that 04 machine. Kind of doesn't really gives you a great perspective of the cars around him, but it doesn't put in perspective just how blind Nick Ruffini is. He is probably not seeing much of anything at all around, or in front of that 51 machine. And there we are, riding on board right here. This is the helmet cam for Nick Ruffini. When he gets right up behind that 51 machine, Johnny, he has no vision of what's in front of him when he's trying to push him.
Yeah, that rear spoiler will completely block your view, and it's definitely it's up to the trust in the car ahead and hoping that nobody pulls up in front of them, and maybe you don't see it, if you're trying to bump traffic. It could cause a big checkup, but so far they're the only ones up there on that high side and making it work okay.
Yeah, definitely making it work and doing a nice job right there. Middle lane is the lane right here that is starting to get a little bit more organized. That is Brad T. Nelson trying to push. I think that's Zach White. Yeah, that is Zach White in that number 77 machine. Trying to get him back up here to the front of this thing. Zach White is somebody we've seen him have some tough luck here in recent weeks, but here he is holding it pretty well in that Ford Mustang, and he's leading that charge on the outside. Aaron Espy sees that run coming. He's going to jump around. Oh! White gets turned into the wall. I think everybody might avoid him. But, man, that was a tough break for Zach White in that 77 machine. A great job by him to not overreact. But it was I think that was a push gone wrong, Johnny. And I think that we might be able to go side by side to go back to see maybe what transpired right here with get this off the screen right here to see what happened with him. Yeah, the 16 jumped in front of him. Maybe White jumped out of the gas. Brad T. Nelson was just in front of him. And unfortunately, Zach got hooked into that outside wall. Definitely nothing intentional in that. Just that's just super speedway racing.
Yeah, it's kind of exactly what I was talking about, where somebody will pop up in front of that line and the pushing car has to lift, or else with that checkup, it can cause an issue like that. And yeah, I mean, hey, definitely a good save, some damage, but hey, nothing he can't get repaired before the end of this race.
Absolutely, and Aaron Espy is still in control of this race, getting that push from the outside from Brad T. Nelson and deciding that he's going to jump back down to the bottom. Seeing Aaron Espy right here, he's doing kind of what I like to call, he's kind of just working both sides of the street, kind of working both lanes right here, and just trying to watch the momentum from both lanes. And Johnny, I don't know how you are when you're racing super speedways, because you're a really good super speedway racer yourself. I always try to keep in mind of, like, all right, which one of these guys has the freshest engine behind me? Like, which one has been tucked up, the shortest amount of time? And I always kind of want to put myself in front of the one that I feel like might be the freshest to give me the best push that I can possibly get.
Yeah, hey, it's definitely something that crosses my mind when I'm doing these things, but yeah, I mean, let's be honest, right now I'd be at the tail end of this pack, just riding around, biding my time, but yeah, these guys are bold out here, trying to lead as many laps as they can and control the pace of this race from up front.
Definitely are, and we got one driver here, second car on that outside lane. Let's give a call to that guy in that Butterfingers Ford Mustang. That's that number 9 of Reggie Kime. I think it might be Kime time tonight, Johnny, here at Talladega Superspeedway. Reggie is really good here on the super speedways, and he is a driver, Johnny, who has to have a good night tonight. He is currently 29 points behind the cut line, so he has a lot of ground that he has to make up. And as we approach the end of stage 1, about 5 laps away here from the end of the stage, he's somebody that's probably thinking about getting max amount of stage points, putting himself maybe in position to win this stage. And he's got himself in good position. It's so hard, to even be around at the end of these things, Johnny, on super speedways, but trying to like put yourself in position at the end of these stages is super, super difficult, especially, you know, with points being as tight as they are.
Yeah, it absolutely is. And we see Reggie Kime has been one of the best at it so far. He's up, started 12th, up to 4th, battling for that 3rd position on the outside. And he is one of the drivers that did not pit, it looks like, on that first caution. So definitely track position on the mind for the driver to number 9.
Definitely is, and he's got that thing in good position to possibly get some very valuable stage points right here as we approach lap 25 in that stage caution. Saw some juking around going on right there around Seth Heyman. Seth Heyman is that 3rd car on the outside lane. We haven't seen too much of Seth in the Fall Creek Plumbing National Series, but he's up here at the front of this thing and mixing it up with the series regulars, the ones that we have seen all season here. And he's got that, I think that's a Parker Ritzloff paint scheme right there. He's got that thing up there in the top 5, battling it out right there, and he's looking pretty good right here, you know, giving a nice little push to that outside lane.
Yeah, it's a sharp-looking Funkaway number 30 machine there for Seth Heyman. And, yeah, hey, definitely mixing it up with these drivers. You know, these guys, they've raced, what is this, the 31st or 32nd race all together all season long, and there's quite a few newcomers this race that everybody's got to get used to. And oh my, we see a bit of a moment back here with number 3 of Michael Wade up into the wall a little bit, trying to get that 3rd lane rolling.
Yeah, I think he saw the momentum coming from that 78. Oh, we got trouble. That's the 60 around. I believe that is we got more trouble right here in turns 3 and 4. That's Michael Wade and maybe Harold Tucker that were involved in turns 3 and 4. They save it, though. I think everybody has gotten it straight right here. Race Control has decided to keep this thing green right here, and we're still racing right here as we approach the end of stage 1. A lot of stuff going on. That was the number 60 of David Rydell that we saw go down towards the inside right there. There's like 2 secondary incidents that occurred even after that primary one right there. This field is still clean and green up at the front of this thing. Put Aaron Espy up there, and this kind of broken this pack apart. Not as much energy up here anymore. We got about a dozen cars, it looks like, that are going to be battling it out possibly for the stage win. Not even a dozen cars, maybe 9 or 10 of them. So this is going to put these drivers in a little bit of a difficult spot right here. I think that the momentum might, you know, it might change a little bit right here, Johnny, as we come to the final lap of stage 1.
Yeah, that was definitely huge moments right there. But right now, it looks like Aaron Espy is going to lead the field around, take the win of stage number 1 with Jacob Cochran and Brad T. Nelson in tow.
I think that we got one more lap. I think this is the final lap right here of this stage. They're working lap 25 now. It's all right. I've definitely done that before myself too.
Hey, it's okay. They were racing like it was the last lap with 3 to go. So, but yeah, now we're going to see that pressure pick back up. Brad T. Nelson on that outside is going to draw even with Aaron Espy down into turn 3. 33 has the help of the 9. The 16 has the help of the 84. Which lane will prevail?
Reggie Kime right here trying to get as many stage points as he can. Jacob Cochran made a peek to the inside right there off turn 4. Couldn't make anything happen. Kime's going to go to the outside, try to grab as many spots as he can. But Aaron Espy is going to lead them down and put Espy to the front. He is going to win stage 1 here at Talladega. Jacob Cochran finishes in 2nd. Gavin Henson in 3rd. Some valuable stage points for him. Some valuable points for Reggie Kime finishing in 4th. And last night's winner in the Truck Series, Brad T. Nelson, is going to round out the top 5, your stage point winners tonight. While the field makes its way back to the pace car, we're going to get ourselves all caught up right here, and we'll try to see what happens right here on these pit stops, Johnny, and see, exactly what these drivers choose to do. At Talladega, Johnny, there's a lot of possibilities for strategy, and we'll definitely have to see how that all transpires. But while we wait for the field to get collected by the pace car, I think it might be a good time to hear from some of our partners here in Mystic Racing League, specifically Fall Creek Plumbing, the sponsor of the Fall Creek Plumbing National Series. We'll be right back, folks, on the other end of this break. Don't go anywhere.
Whether it's a sudden leak or a project you've been meaning to tackle, Fall Creek Plumbing is here to help. Serving all of Central Indiana, we're a small family-owned business based in Pendleton, built on honesty, quality, and care. From slab leaks and water heaters to full plumbing upgrades and everyday maintenance, our team brings experience and craftsmanship to every job, big or small. It's not just about fixing problems, it's about providing reliable, long-term solutions for your home. At Fall Creek Plumbing, we believe in showing up on time, treating your home with respect, and doing the job right the first time. Because peace of mind shouldn't be a luxury, it should be the standard. Fall Creek Plumbing, local, reliable, professional, and proud sponsor of Mystic Racing League.
Back here live at Talladega for the Mystic Racing League in the Fall Creek Plumbing National Series. I'm Chris Smith, joined in the booth tonight by Johnny Rapp. We hope that you're all enjoying the action tonight here from Talladega. These drivers put on a great show in Stage 1, a great finish to Stage 1 right here. But now it's time for some pit stops, guys. Some of these drivers haven't been to pit road for the entire race so far. They're going to be led to pit road by Aaron Espy. Aaron is one of those drivers who did come to pit road. He put fuel in before. I think we might see a myriad of different strategies right here, Johnny. Some drivers maybe deciding to put one of their sets of tires on here, possibly. Maybe some drivers taking fuel only, maybe to get some track position, maybe wanting to get control of this race right here. But yeah, we'll track all of the action down there at the bottom in the pit road battle graphic right there. And I'm seeing a lot of drivers taking 4 tires. I'm seeing some drivers get their service done a lot more quickly than others. Aaron Espy, it looks like he is going to be the first one off of pit road. And he is going to lead the field with Christian Barnes, I think, coming out in second, Jacob Cochran in third. I think we did see a host of different strategies right there. It looks like Aaron Espy maybe took 2 tires. It's either 2 tires or fuel only for Christian Barnes, Jacob Cochran, Gavin Henson, and Evan Janik maybe doing some different strategies, while a lot of other drivers, a host of other drivers behind them, decided to take 4 tires. While these drivers make their way around the track right here, we're going to see if we can grab a quick word with one of these drivers here. Let's see if we can grab a word right here with Adam Holston in that number 8 machine. Adam Holston, this is the Slingshot booth. You got a copy, bud?
Yes, sir.
And Adam, we saw a lot of action right there in Stage 1, a lot of 3-wide racing right there. Seemed like you kind of had the strategy of maybe trying to just take it easy and try to be around at the end of this thing. What are you seeing out there behind the wheel of that number 8 machine?
Well, I'm seeing a lot of new guys is what I'm seeing, and I don't really want to be around them right now. I'm going to let them, figure things out up there and maybe wreck, maybe just figure each other out and start running a little better, and then I'll try and make my pounce here for this second stage, get some track position.
You gonna try to go from some stage points right here, maybe towards the end of stage 2?
Yeah, I think so.
All right, man. Well, hey, we'll be watching for you. We'll be keeping an eye on you the whole time. Good luck out there the rest of the way. Hopefully we'll be talking to you at the end of this thing.
All right, thanks, sir.
That is Adam Holston for 5-Star Racing, teammates with Alex Pollock, Brett Wren, and Evan Janik. We are going to keep our eyes on some of these battles or some of these teammate factions out here tonight, Johnny, as the field is making its way towards the start-finish line, and I believe they are taking the choose this time. And yeah, Aaron Espy is going to take that bottom lane right there. He wants to have that 27 machine of Christian Barnes behind him. Jacob Cochran looks like he's going to line up on the outside in that number 84 machine. Looks like Cochran and Aaron Espy and Stephen Gill are all in the same chat as well. So those drivers may be working together out there. And you got Brad T. Nelson, Christian Barnes, Gavin Henson. How important is it to have a good teammate here at Talladega, Johnny?
It is super important, especially during the green flag runs. If we do get a green flag pit stop, that is where you will really want to have some drafting partners kind of orchestrate when to pit so you can get locked up, push each other coming out of the pits, and give yourself the best run possible against people that might not pit on the same lap as you.
And we very well might see a green flag pit stop in the final stage of this thing. 94 laps here tonight at Talladega. The number that I got in the pre-race from some of the people in 5-Star Racing was around 30 laps on a tank of fuel. So these drivers will be able to make it here to the end of stage 2 on this tank. But if we get a clean green flag run in that final stage, I think it'll be very interesting to see how everything shakes out. With possible pit strategies, who you decide to go with, when do you decide to pit, who's going to be your dance partner, and I think that also shows off a lot of great prowess for some of these drivers. Speed on pit road and speed off of pit road. Field is making its way off of turn 4. The pace car is going to turn off right here, folks. We're so happy that you are joining us here tonight. Let us know who you're rooting for in the chat right here, as these drivers are going to work their way into the tri-oval, coming up to that United Reynolds restart zone, putting the field in the hands of Aaron Espy and Jacob Cochran. Espy's going to hit the gas right here. He is your control car. We're back underway, back green here at Talladega. A little bit of gap right there from Aaron Espy to Christian Barnes. That's going to put that inside lane at a little bit of a disadvantage right there, as the top lane is a little bit more organized. That's Jacob Cochran with a push from Gavin Henson and Evan Janik. Meanwhile, Christian Barnes has gotten back to the rear bumper of Aaron Espy, delivering a push to that Realtree Chevrolet down the backstretch. It's a drag race between Espy and Cochran. Give the advantage slightly to Cochran right there in the outside.
Yeah, the outside line is prevailing. You can see that third car in line. It looks like Brad T. Nelson falling back just a little bit. That's going to hurt that inside line, but right now they surge ahead, and that outside line locked up is going to have the momentum heading towards the tri-oval.
Yeah, and here comes that inside back right there. That's Christian Barnes trying to get, it's like a little bit of a yo-yo effect, Johnny. Get one lane that moves forward a little bit, then it's time for the next lane to move forward right there. Got a couple of really good pushers right there in that second row. And those drivers are teammates for Waterforce Racing. That is Christian Barnes and that is Gavin Henson. Christian Barnes on that inside in the 27, Gavin Henson on the outside in the 39. There's another teammate of theirs, Brad T. Nelson, the winner from last night. So he knows how to get it done on super speedways in the 33. They've all got themselves up here at the front of this thing, and Johnny, that they would love to get themselves up there at the front of each of these lines to maybe see if they could control this race. We got one car sideways. That's the number 2. Oh, we got another one. I think that was Alex Pollock who got sideways as well. They're going to save it right there. But for Brendan Reed into that inside wall right there, some pretty significant damage to the 2 machine. I think he tagged the inside wall right there as they came off of turn 4. While you watch the field work its way through turns 1 and 2, Johnny, we might be able to get a replay right here, a side-by-side of what happened to that number 2 machine. There is Brendan Reed in that 2. The C4 Ultimate Energy machine. Oh, yeah, some contact right there with that number 9 machine of Reggie Kyman. Yeah, he pounds that inside wall. Some pretty significant left front damage to that machine. We'll have to see how it affects that car, affects the speed right there. He's going to keep on rolling, I think, to maybe see if he can catch a caution. I think that he did take his quick repair. He was right there at the pits, decided to take the quick repair, get back rolling again right here, but the field is coming up on him very, very quickly. So we'll have to see right here if maybe he can put himself in position to get the lucky dog free pass right here on our next caution.
Yeah, definitely not where you want to be, but you do have that mulligan to use if you have to. We see him up there with no help. He will be swallowed up by this pack in a matter of laps. Yeah, kind of surprising that happened so far back in the pack. Maybe a little bit of a stack up or something that caused the initial contact, but yeah, this early on in the stage, maybe just a little bit too much aggression shown for, further back position.
Absolutely, and I think it just goes to show you, Johnny, he was back there at the back of the pack, and we talked about where you want to be. Do you want to be at the front? Do you want to be at the back? And Johnny, we've seen a couple of big crashes so far, and we've seen one of them at the front, and we've seen one of them at the back. It seems like there's just no safe place here at Talladega.
There absolutely isn't, but we cannot gloss over the fact that Brad T. Nelson just made a move for the ages, going up to the outside and then being able to cut back down, getting that lead, cutting back down with the help of Christian Barnes there. A little bit of a moment as they were getting locked back up, but they're able to get up there for the lead as we see that number 2 machine of Brennan Reed going a lap down now. He's going to stay up there on the wall, out of the way of the leaders, and try to catch on to the tail end of this pack.
Yeah, Brendan's going to try to latch on to the tail end of this pack right here and maybe work his way back up there through there. He's going to be racing Zach White in the number 77, I believe. I think it's going to be between those two right here, as long as the status quo stays the same. And there is Zach White in that 77. They're right there with each other on the track, and so it's going to be interesting to watch that race right there. A little bit of a race within the race between these drivers that are racing for the lucky dog. Meanwhile, at the front of this thing, those Waterforce teammates right there on the inside, that is Brad T. Nelson and that is Christian Barnes trying to work their way past Jacob Cochran in the outside. Brad T. Nelson, that's a driver also that wouldn't be a bit surprised at all to see himself in victory lane at the end of this thing. He's another one of those drivers that we feel like has been improving week in and week out, getting himself better and better every single week. And he found his way to victory lane last night in the Truck Series here for the Mystic Racing League. And here he is right now up at the front of this thing here in the Fall Creek Plumbing National Series.
Yeah, you can get a good look right here of just the pack of hungry dogs behind him, still 2x2 all the way throughout the top 10 or 20 here. And you see just how close that number 27 of Christian Barnes is getting. A little bit of a push in the straightaway, and he backs off a little bit on the corner to give himself a little breathing room. And it looks like the 16 of Aaron Espy is going to move up to that top side and hoping to challenge for the lead here.
Seeing a lot of confidence out of that 16 machine, Johnny. He has been one of the drivers that I think has not been afraid to make lane changes. We saw Brad T. Nelson with a great move earlier, a great lane change from him. There's another really good one right there from Aaron Espy, jumping out in front of Jacob Cochran. Those two are teammates. They are in the same chat tonight, and it seems like with the tandeming that we're seeing right there in turns 1 and 2, that those two are not afraid to work together, and they seem like they are being pretty aggressive with one another. That speaks to just a level of comfort and a level of confidence that you might have with another driver. And these guys right here, they are working their way up. You can see the momentum of that top lane right there. And man, that 84 machine has been really tucked up for about the last lap right now on Aaron Espy. I think he's trying to peek out right there in the tri-oval. Maybe that water temperature is starting to go up on that number 84, but he is given one heck of a push to Aaron Espy.
Yes, he is. Yeah, you see it there, him poking that nose out to the right. That's going to cool that car off, but it's also going to slow them down quite a bit. And Brad T. Nelson and Barnes are going to pull away a little bit here. We do have somebody in the chat said if you're not first, you're last, Brad T. Nelson. So, hey, he's first right now. And yeah, we're looking pretty good for that number 33 right now. And we have Steve Veman says, Dega is the best super speedway. I agree. Daytona is beautiful, but Talladega puts on some of the best racing that you'll see in stock car racing.
Johnny, Talladega is just like the stuff of folklore. I mean, so many great stories around Talladega, so many surprise first-time winners. Obviously, we know about all the enormous crashes that happen here. I'm from Alabama, Johnny. I've been to the infield at Talladega. I've seen many things here. Yeah, I agree. It is the best super speedway. Love Daytona as well, but Talladega, man, there's just something special about it right here. As man, we're starting to starting to mix it up right here, starting to have some drivers act like they want to go 3 wide. That's Tyler Stevenson and Brett Wren getting really close together in turns 3 and 4 right there. Stevenson saw the run that Brett Wren had, and I think he wanted to jump in front of that Fall Creek Plumbing machine right there. But Brett Wren, he had other ideas right there, and he decided to shoot the gap up the middle. He's got his teammate, the number 8 of Adam Holston, right behind him. We talked to Holston right there at the end of stage number 1, and Holston decided that, you know, he was going to ride for a little bit, but he sounded like he really wanted some stage points. He comes into this race 16 above the cut line, didn't get much in the way of points in stage 1. Seems like he's going to go after it right now, right here, as he's hooked up with his teammate right there on that outside lane.
Yeah, while all that was happening, we did see a little bit of a moment between Nelson and Barnes up front. They were able to gather back up, and it allowed the 16 to get back door to door with Brad. And yeah, now that outside line is falling off just a bit again.
Seth Heyman right there trying to stay tucked up right behind that 27 of Christian Barnes. That's the third car on the inside lane right there. Another few cars back right there on the inside lane. I want to give a shout out to that 78 machine. You focus on him right there, Johnny, for just a second. That's Caleb Hunt in that number 78. I really want to give a shout out to him because he is running the colors of one of my favorite bands on that 78 machine. He has got the Alabama band on that 78 machine. Very fitting here at Talladega Superspeedway. I love Alabama. They put out some great music over the years, and he's got that thing. He's looking for a good, possibly top 5, possibly some stage points right there. And that 78 machine is we're coming to the conclusion of lap 41 right here. Lap 50 is the stage break, marking the end of stage 2.
Oh my, we are
man.
4 wide back here. The 8 gets kind of pushed in the middle. And man, that was a bit of a moment there. I was holding my breath, but
it sure was. Yeah, they did a nice job of keeping it straight right there. We got a lot of blocking going on at the front of the field right here. Aaron Espy putting all kinds of moves right there on Jacob Cochran. I think that those two saw the run coming on the outside, decided to try to jump up in front of them, and man, it really stalled out the momentum right there. We're watching high above right here as, man, you can see Aaron Espy. He was up there battling for the lead with Brad T. Nelson and Christian Barnes. Oh, we got trouble back behind them. That's Brett Wren. Brett Wren and Tyler Stevenson hard into the outside wall. And I think that might have been a result. We're going to have to go back and watch this. I don't want to speculate, but I think that could have been a result, Johnny, of the stack up that we saw coming off of turn 2. Those drivers that were trying to jockey and trying to, you know, watch the momentum right here. We're going to go back to see if we can see what happened right here. There is Brett Wren. Oh, yeah, see, he came off the wall, and unfortunately, Tyler Stevenson was coming up the middle right there, and the contact occurred between those two drivers right there, turning Brett Wren into the wall. Tyler Stevenson, some damage for that Red Bull machine right there. Fortunately, it was only a 2-car incident. It definitely could have been worse, but it is definitely not good for Brett Wren or Tyler Stevenson. Not sure about the quick repair count on those machines tonight. Riding on board right here with Tyler Stevenson. And just, yeah, Tyler had nowhere to go right there. Like Brett, maybe got a little free off that outside wall right there and came down into the path of that number 98.
yeah, either that or maybe just a little bit of a late move to try to jump in line. But either way, yeah, pretty, I guess there's only 2 cars, but not what you want to see. A couple cars that looks like the 98 of Tyler is maybe out of fast repairs, and he's in pit road trying to fix that car, unless he had to tow. And Brett Wren is still moseying along down the straightaway here, hopefully able to get that damage fixed. Pretty hard impacts, so we'll have to see.
We definitely will. We'll keep our eyes on Brett Wren right here and Tyler Stevenson to see how this night transpires for them. While we're under caution right here, just 8 laps to go right here before we get to the end of stage 2. Might be a good moment right here to hear from one of our partners here in the Mystic Racing League, the Fall Creek Plumbing National Series. Let's hear from one of our partners at AmSoil. When we get back on the other end of this break, we'll set the stage right here for the conclusion of Stage 2. Don't go anywhere. Back here live at the Talladega Superspeedway. Pit stops underway right here as we see some drivers that were back towards the rear of the field electing to come down pit road, topping off the fuel tanks on their cars, maybe setting themselves up to maybe try a little something right here in the final stage. Some of those drivers actually getting some damage fixed, like Brett Wren possibly in that number 24 machine. They worked their way off of pit road. And the field right here is working their way down the back stretch. Johnny, it's been a great night here of action right here in the Fall Creek Plumbing National Series, and we just got 2 races left in this season. One next week at Martinsville. I know that we're kind of jumping the gun here just a little bit, but man, I'm really excited to watch cars around Martinsville next week. And these guys specifically. It's been a while since I watched a sim race there actually. What are your thoughts as these drivers are going to head there in a week's time?
Yeah, I'll tell you what, it's going to be an interesting one to watch. I believe they no, never mind. But yeah, that's tight, close quarters racing. Nothing. You're going from one extreme to the other, going from 2.5 miles to just a half-mile flat track. You're going to see a lot of bumping and banging, door-to-door action there at Martinsville, and yeah, it's going to be dramatic, I'm sure.
And we talk about surprise winners here at Talladega, but I wouldn't be a bit surprised at all to see a surprise winner at Martinsville as well. That is a driver's track, requires a lot of technique, but a lot of things can definitely happen as the field is working their way down towards that choose zone right here, and Brad T. Nelson has decided to take that inside row with one of the series newcomers. We saw him last week. That's Seth Heyman in that number 30. He's electing to take the outside row right here, and they are working lap 45 right here, Johnny, and so that's going to put us, as we take the green flag, that's going to put us with 5 laps to go here in stage 2. We've definitely seen in super speedway racing, we've definitely seen some crashes, both in the sim and in real life, as drivers race to the ends of these stages. With some points on the line right here, especially with a couple guys up here near the front of this thing, I'm looking at Christian Barnes and I'm looking at Reggie Kime specifically. Those drivers right there are really, really needing stage points. How desperate, how aggressive do you think they might possibly get right here to maintain their, position right here to sort of grab those stage points?
Well, I'll tell you, if you still have a fast repair in the bank, now is the time to go out here and try to win this stage. Because, if you get wrecked going for it, hey, you lost those stage points, but at least you can repair that car and try to get out and win the race itself. But, yeah, they're definitely going to be aggressive. You have to get everything you can with stage racing, and yeah, we're about to see a very intense 5 laps, if I had to guess.
One of those drivers that I do not think has a fast repair left is that driver on the inside of row 3. That is Evan Janik, who has been our points leader for so long this season. He has such a great regular season, and unfortunately had a difficult week last week right there. And I think he's a driver that's, with 22 points above the cut line, he might be a little conservative right here. If he doesn't like what he sees, I wouldn't be a bit surprised maybe to see that 71 car maybe ease on back right there. But drivers who aren't easing back right now are those ones who are up there on the front row. They are right now in that United Rentals restart zone. We are back underway here at Talladega. 5 laps to go here towards the end of stage number 2. Christian Barnes giving a great push to Brad T. Nelson. Those two are going to separate themselves from the rest of the field, kind of tandeming right there as they enter turns 1 and 2, kind of breaking apart right here. as they come off of turn number 2. That outside lane seemed to have a bit of a struggle right there. Reggie Kime and Seth Heyman could not get going on that top lane as well as the bottom could. That's going to open the door for Derek Jewett. Saw Derek have some trouble early in the race. He's got that car all fixed up. He actually turned over early in the race right here, but he's looking to work his way back up there near the front. That's another driver who desperately needs some stage points. He's looking to try to get a push right there from Seth Heyman in the 30.
Yeah, that inside line is putting on a clinic right now, but we're starting to see some shuffling around. We see Reggie Kime getting back up to the top, trying to make a charge up into the top 5 here with the help of the 04 from Nick Ruffini. You see Jewett go up to that 3rd line. It looks like he's going to be left out to dry, and all those stage points that were just right in front of him are going to fade away.
I've been there where Derek Jewett is, right there where you go to make that move and nobody goes with you, and man, it is just a helpless feeling because there is absolutely nothing Derek Jewett can do other than fall back and try to get back in line and attack again right here, and he'll do that back here towards the tail of this pack. Meanwhile, up at the front of this thing, that's Reggie Kime right there in that number 9 machine with Nick Ruffini in the 04 right behind him. Ruffini going to try to lock bumpers right there with that number 9 machine. Here comes Reggie Kime right here with a good head of steam right there. Put him to 2nd and possibly to the lead right here as he has a lot of momentum in that top lane. Ruffini to the left rear. Ooh, that's really dicey in turn 1 right there, Johnny. Anybody who gets to the left rear, that is a very vulnerable spot to have that driver in front of you in.
Yeah, definitely a little bit of a moment there. They were able to gather back up and make another charge at this. I'm interested to see if the 9 is going to cut right down to the bottom or if he's going to try to keep that high line going if they can break the plane for the lead here.
Yeah, we got a 3rd lane trying to start up back behind these guys. That's Adam Holson and Jacob Cochran. They made some good progress down the backstretch, falling back a little bit right here in turns 3 and 4. I think they're getting a little bit more help with them right here as maybe they'll duck back down in line right here, try to maybe build some energy, trying to build some momentum right there as we have 2 laps to go here in stage number 2. Reggie Kime, you mentioned him, Johnny. Is he going to stay out there with that high lane, or is he going to maybe clear Brad T. Nelson and jump to the bottom? Seems right now he doesn't have much of a choice, unfortunately, for him because Brad T. Nelson is battling back right here with his teammate Christian Barnes right behind him. 3rd lane starting to get some momentum. That's Derek Jewett. Jewett with a push from the number 8 of Holston. Put Jewett right here 3 wide. This is around the 5th spot. Seth Heyman in the middle right here. It's getting really close right up here, Johnny, with a good push from Adam Holston to Derek Jewett.
Yeah, there's cars everywhere. We are 3 wide up here battling for the stage number 2 win. We saw the 9 of Reggie Kime go down to the bottom to block that 33, and they're just about 3 wide for the lead here. We have Nick Ruffini, it looks like, in the middle. He's going to edge ahead just a little bit with the help of Seth Heyman. And don't look now, but that 45 is back in the picture, leading that outside lane with the momentum. It looks like they're going to surge ahead.
Evan Janet goes to the inside. He doesn't want any part of this. Derek Jewett desperately wants stage points right there. Oh, some contact. Ruffini's going to go sideways. Reggie Kime's involved. Gavin Henson involved. Playoff contenders right here as Ruffini is going to tumble down the banking at turns 3 and 4. Caution is out. The stage is over. And we'll have to see where the field got frozen. I think Derek Jewett is going to pick up the stage win. Some very valuable stage points for him. Some drivers getting tore up right here before they could get that green and white checkered. So looked like the contact occurred. It was around where Nick Ruffini was, and he was in that middle lane, Johnny. He's getting the push right here from Seth Heyman. And I think that contact maybe broke up between these guys right here about the middle part of the backstretch.
Yeah, we're going to see it here, just bump drafting as hard as you can, coming to this the end of this stage and trying to get everything you can. Got a little bit off center there, the 30 did, and it's a bad push and huge impact to the outside wall for that 04 as he goes tumbling down the banking.
Yeah, some damage right there also for Aaron Espy and for Gavin Henson. an incredible crash for Nick Ruffini. We mentioned it, Johnny. The spectacular crashes are what Talladega is known for. And, that one definitely did not disappoint. How much of a genius does Evan Janik look like? he ducked out of line down the backstretch. He didn't like what he was seeing, and he got out of there. He got out of Dodge, and he gets out of there without any damage on that car. He knows that he's kind of, he's kind of vulnerable right here with not having any more fast repairs, and I think that he did not want to put himself in the position of finding himself tore up right here 2 weeks in a row. So he decided he was not going to go for those stage points and just try to be around, at the end of this thing. And I think that could be a very, very consequential decision that he made in that 71.
Yeah, it very well could. Perfect timing to pull out of line and do that, And, man, really, there's only a couple cars involved in that. As big of a wreck as it looked like, a lot of drivers pretty lucky to escape without any damage.
Yeah, one of those drivers was Reggie Kime. He was a driver who we had been talking about. He actually did grab some stage points, Johnny. And I wanted to pull him into the booth, but he has a good bit of damage, so I'm not going to pull him into the booth because I think that he's possibly going to get that thing fixed. Maybe looking back right there, and yeah, the damage is fairly significant on the number 9 machine. He's out of that car right now. I didn't think that he had used a fast repair, but maybe I was mistaken. Maybe he has used it. But yeah, hopefully he'll be able to get back out here and can continue contending for this win and making up some ground, possibly in that playoff picture. Got a couple cars that decided to stay out right here, Johnny. Yeah, you read my mind right there. That number 28 machine right there, that's a good number on Jeff Ryan's machine. He's up here at the front of this thing. Not sure if that's a brother or a cousin or a family member, but yeah, right behind him right there is that number 99 machine right there of Tommy Ryan, and they find themselves 1-2 right now. We got a lot of drivers, or a lot of people tuning into the chat right now, rooting on their favorite drivers. We want to say thank you so much for those of you who are tuning in. Brent Kirby, thank you so much for subscribing to Slingshot Racing Media. We do appreciate your support. Ricky LaFleur is tuning in right here, so saying, have no fear, Ricky is here. Let's go Holston number 8. We know that he's going to be rooting on Adam Holston. Got Justin Cagle out here watching on. We've got Connor Lyons. Of course, it would not be a Thursday night in the Fall Creek Plumbing National Series, Johnny, if Connor Lyons did not tune into the chat. And here he is. Talladega is all about big. Ain't that right, boys? You aren't kidding, Connor. That was a big crash that we saw right there. Not a lot of cars involved, as Johnny mentioned, but it was big as far as it being rather spectacular.
Yeah, and let's not forget Ricky 420 saying Barnes eats bananas for the taste. We appreciate everybody though coming out in the chat and keeping us entertained under these cautions. It gives us something to look back at, and yeah, give us some shout outs. Anybody you want us to do a little spot on, we can tell us a car number or driver you want us to touch on, and we will. And yeah, we appreciate it.
Absolutely. And one of those drivers that, a lot of people have tuned in for every single night is that number 10 of Joshua Gillen. Of course, and he typically tunes in himself. Says, who's the Connor guy? If you watch Slingshot TV on Monday night, Wednesday night, or Thursday night, you are definitely seeing Connor. We appreciate all of his support, and we appreciate you tuning in right there, Joshua. And hey, we appreciate you keeping it lively out there on the track. Roll Tide and that number 10 machine. Field working its way right now down the back stretch. We got a couple of interesting lines up here at the front of this thing, Johnny. We got who we think are some teammates down there on the inside, the 28 and the 99, thus the Ryan machines of Jeff and Tommy. And on the outside, this is our number 1 seed currently in the playoffs after he locked himself into the championship race in a couple weeks' time. Jacob Cochran in that number 84. Got Adam Holston behind him. Holston looking to continue with his march towards the championship right there. We'll see if those drivers can do anything with the Rhines right there on the inside. Pace car is going to pull off. That Mustang is going to make its way down pit road. Put the field in the hands of the number 28. You're looking back from the rear, back from the roof right here towards the rear of that number 28 machine. Tommy Ryan's going to pull right up on the rear bumper of Jeff Ryan. Field is going to mash that gas right here. Those two drivers get hooked up. We're back going here for the final stage here at Talladega. Field working its way down here towards turn number 1. Jacob Cochran with a good push on the outside. Looks like he and Adam Holson trying to get locked up front bumper to rear bumper. They're losing a little bit of ground right here to that inside lane right here, man. The Ryans, they timed that out perfectly, got themselves a good little jump right there. But that outside lane, Johnny, it's going to come with the momentum off of turn 2. We've kind of seen that every single restart tonight. They might lose some ground through turns 1 and 2, but down the backstretch, as long as those drivers are able to get hooked up nose to tail, that top lane seems to come back fairly quickly.
Yeah, it's a game of momentum and a game of having help. We see the outside's pretty well locked up, a little bit of a gap in third place on the inside there. We'll see if that's able to tighten this outside line up a little bit. But so far, so good on this restart. We see the Ryans locked up together, first and second.
Yeah, no, this is a new country heard from up here at the front of this thing. That number 59, that is Trevor Hunt on in that Ford Mustang, that white and blue Ford Mustang with kind of like the gold font numbers right there. Haven't seen too much of Trevor near the front of this thing tonight, but he's looking good in that Ford Mustang, and he's gonna see right here if he can maybe get a little bit closer back here behind the Ryans to give them a little bit of that energy. We're talking about energy, Johnny, with in a lane right here. Like, what is that? Sometimes you hear drivers mention that on the Sunday broadcast, even like Sunday, even the sim racers as well. What do they mean when they say they need the energy in their lane?
Yeah, well, it's a game of numbers, and it doesn't really, at least in iRacing, it doesn't. You don't have to be. If you're the third car in line, you don't need to be locked up. You want to be maybe a little bit closer than the 59 is right now, and it helps push that second car in line. So if the second car in line has to lift a little bit, it gives them a little bit of a shot to get right back up and push the leader, and it kind of compounds further. The further back you go, the more cars you have doing that, the more energy you're going to have.
And we're definitely seeing a lot of energy now on that inside lane as Trevor Hunt gets a little bit closer right there to the Ryans, giving them that extra little, not a physical push, but a little bit of a momentum push to them right there. Adam Holson getting a little bit squirrely right there on that outside lane right there. He is pushing Jacob Cochran. Those drivers have been locked up for a large portion right here of the action since the restart to begin our final stage here at Talladega. The Ryans, they've been up here near the front of this thing for a little bit. They've got currently, looking right here, they got 13 laps right here on this fuel run right here. They are one of the drivers that both of them came to pit road on that caution that we had before the end of stage 2. A good call for them to possibly get some track positions. We have one car really high right there in turns 3 and 4. That was Aaron Espy. I think Aaron is he's going to have to get back in line right here, but he's one that I think he's really looking to get himself back up there near the front where he's used to being. We saw him in control for a lot of this race, especially in the first stage.
Yeah, maybe a little bit of the patience running out for that 16, but you're not going to make that high line work without help. He's going to have to look around and find some teammates or friends to draft with to get up there and make some momentum. But right now he's going to concede and just ride behind the 3 at the moment.
And we see up at the front of this thing, we saw some co-opetition, as Daryl Waltrip calls it, some cooperation amongst the competition. The 84 and the 8, they're not teammates, but they worked really well together right there on the outside. That's Jacob Cochran in the 84 and Adam Holston in the 8. They did a nice job right there on the outside lane, and as soon as the 8 was clear of that inside lane, Jacob Cochran moved down and Holston moved with him. So that's a sign right there of a couple drivers that really liked working together. That Jacob Cochran was showing his appreciation to Adam Holston for the push, and decided he wasn't going to leave him out hanging on that outside lane.
Yeah, definitely some good teamwork there. That is going to open the door on that outside, though, for Christian Barnes. Now, the roles were reversed with the help of Brad T. Nelson. And it looks like, yeah, they're right back to it, getting up here, battling for the lead. And it's one thing you see with super speedway racing is that high line. It's easy to get that momentum, get past the cars on the inside, and then cut down in front of them. And, yeah, most people are not going to just hang on to the outside if the inside is available.
Yeah, that inside, Johnny, is just so inviting. You got the comfort of the yellow line. You've got, it's the shorter way. Oh, that was really close right there between, I think that was Alex Pollock and Michael Wade. Cooler heads prevailed right there. Wade kind of slipping back in that Dale Earnhardt paint scheme. Johnny, if you're out here, if you're one of these drivers here in the Fall Creek Plumbing National Series, what do you like? Are you a driver that prefers running in that inside lane on a super speedway, or do you prefer to be in that top lane?
Yeah, I'm definitely a bottom feeder, and mostly because unless you're up front, if there is an accident, you have that whole runway to the inside that you can use for wreck avoidance, and makes it a lot easier. If you're up near the wall and a wreck happens, you're kind of just you're leaving everything up to luck, whether you can get it slowed down in time and the cars behind you can too. At least if you could shoot down to that inside line, you might be able to avoid a wreck.
Yeah, I definitely agree. I think that's a great point. And, you definitely have options on that inside lane. You've got an escape avenue, if you will, if something does happen in front of you. Whereas if you are up there higher, it's much more difficult to navigate your way through these crashes. I find myself kind of, wanting to be on the top lane typically when I'm trying to be aggressive and move forward. Especially if I'm up here near the front. I like kind of controlling the race from the top lane if at all possible. But yeah, I definitely like the safety that comes with being on that inside lane. As somebody who's not being safe at all right now is Stephen Gill in that 0-3, that Kingsford machine, and he was trying his very best to work his way up there, right there on that outside. He's kind of by himself right there. He's got the drafting help with somebody way up there. That's Michael Wade in that number 3. Let's see if the 3 and the 0-3 might be able to get hooked up right there. Maybe make some ground up on that top lane.
Yeah, that 0-3 of Gill is the first car one lap down, so definitely trying to get in the mix of his pack a little bit to be the lucky dog candidate. He's racing with Justin Schwab and Gavin Henson for that lucky dog position.
Yeah, and right now, Justin Schwab is up here in this pack. He's towards the rear of the pack, but he's still there. Gavin Henson is kind of just chilling at the back of this thing. We saw him involved in that crash at the end of stage 2. Looks like Gavin's got most of his damage fixed. I think that he's fine. Oh, Schwab is... Something happened to Justin Schwab, didn't it?
Yeah, I'm not too sure. It looks like he's going to pull off and maybe tow that thing to the pits. Maybe maybe he thinks they're going green. He's not going to have a chance at that lucky dog spot. But, yeah, unfortunate for Schwab. We didn't see any contact on track or anything, so...
Yeah, that's very unfortunate for Justin. He was just kind of chilling at the back of that pack. Had himself a race possibly going on with that 0-3 of Stephen Gill for the lucky dog spot. So yeah, tough break for Justin right there as field is working its way through turns 1 and 2 right here. Jacob Cochran still in control of this thing. Kind of like the team right there of Cochran and Adam Holston. Those drivers right there, they definitely seem fast right there. We got some drivers right here. Some viewers, some fans tuning in right here talking about some of their drivers. We got Ricky LaFleur. You mentioned him before, Johnny. My grandson, Caleb Hunt, isn't never going to win and move out. Guess I'm stuck with him. Yeah, we won't tell Caleb about that. But, yeah, he's doing a nice job out there. Unfortunately, he kind of lost this pack right here, and maybe he'll catch a lucky caution. I think the field is actually coming up on him right now, so he might be one of those drivers that'll have to battle it out for the lucky dog. Of course, we got Connor also tuning in, chiming in as well, saying, "Let's go, number 71. Let's go, Evan Janik." Connor, Evan Janik just kind of chilling right now. I wouldn't panic at all. He's just taking it easy right there at the back of this thing, and wouldn't be a bit surprised at all to see that 71 make his way towards the front of this thing as we get closer and closer to the end of it. Meanwhile, at the front right here, that team of Jacob Cochran and Adam Holston, they're not teammates, but, man, they look really solid hooked up together. They're running 1 and 2 right now. Ever since they got nose to tail, they've pretty much stayed that way, and they've stayed up there in the front, Johnny.
Yes, they have, and I'll tell you, the 28 and the 99, the Rhines have not fallen off either. They've stayed tucked up right behind our leaders, Jacob Cochran and Adam Holston, just biding their time on the inside line, and being very courteous and respectful. I think we'll see things amp up as we get closer to the end of this race, but right now it's just about survival.
Yeah, that's definitely the name of the game right now. Great job by the Rhines right here. I know there's a little bit of apprehension from some drivers maybe. We heard some of them talk about it in the, when we pulled them in the booth, how they were around a lot of drivers they didn't really know tonight and maybe weren't all that comfortable with. But I would say the Rhines have done a really nice job here, Johnny. They've held a pretty will up here, being double file in the pack right here with all these playoff drivers around them, drivers that are on the bubble, that are really close right here. They've been very respectful and, still racing hard, but, showing a lot of courtesy to their competitors and some of these regulars here in the Fall Creek Plumbing National Series. On the outside lane, you've got, that's that number 33 machine of Brad T. Nelson, last night's Truck Series winner. He is delivering a push to Christian Barnes, trying to get closer to Barnes. Might be a little bit of overheating going on right there. Yeah, no, he's actually he gave him a little bit of a push right there in the short chute, working their way into the tri-oval. That lane is coming back. They're coming back on the number 8 and the 84, drawing even on those two, Adam Holston and Jacob Cochran, who have been in such good control of this race ever since the restart.
Yeah, and I'll tell you, a lot of it has to do with the 92 of Alex Pollock there. He's drawn up a little bit closer to the back bumper at 33, and yeah, that momentum has picked up for sure in return. And yeah, we see him falling off a little bit now. If he can get right back up there, that's where you want to be if you want to try to make a move for the lead.
Yeah, you definitely want to be up there in contention. Kenny Cucko chiming in right here. He says, let's go 0-4. All right, let's go 0-4, yeah. That's Nick Ruffini. And yeah, how about Nick Ruffini? We saw him tumbling down the banking in turns 3 and 4. Yeah, great recovery for Nick Ruffini. Great job for him right here. He used that quick repair, got that thing back to business. He's taking no prisoners, Johnny. Going to the outside, 3 wide. Michael Wade going with him. Look at the positions right here that he's gaining. They've got a lot of momentum, but can they keep it, I think, is the question. They didn't really stay hooked up all that well. In fact, Michael Wade is going to fall off the 0-4. Get back in line right here in the middle right here, and I think Nick Ruffini, Michael Wade has decided, he's not quite sure what he's going to do right here. He's coming back to the rear bumper right here. Connor Lyons chiming in saying no reaction for a super chat. Well, I'm sorry about that, Connor. It's a little bit hard for me to see it tonight because I don't have all the tools that Ellis does. Unfortunately, Ellis is out sick tonight. Man, we are so appreciative for your super chat. Thank you so much for chiming in as always, and thank you for your support. We definitely appreciate everything that you do here at Slingshot TV, always tuning in. Meanwhile, everything is getting really dicey up here at the front of this thing. These leaders up here, Johnny, they are door handle to door handle for the lead right here, Jacob Cochran and Christian Barnes.
Yeah, it's definitely picked up quite a bit. We see, they were side by side there for the lead. Once again, that inside line with Adam Holston and Jacob Cochran, they kind of get locked up as Holston goes to the apron. Not sure what that was about, but able to get right back in line and continue to try to push. But that's going to open the door for that 27. Let's see if he makes the move to the bottom. He's going to stay up top with his, I assume, teammate in the 33.
Ooh. Yeah, and it is getting dicey right here. We're 4 wide right here around the 92 of Alex Pollock. That's the number 60 right there of David Rydell coming up the middle right there. A lot of momentum for that number 60 machine, and he is going to clear those drivers. They were kind of sort of jockeying around up there, Johnny, and they lost a lot of their momentum. And they are, they're going to pay for it right there with, David Rydell. He just decided he was going to just zoom past them all right there. Christian Barnes is going to try to see if he can lock bumpers with him and push him back up there towards the lead where they were earlier.
Yeah, definitely, a bit of a chaotic moment there. We see that third line trying to start up with, it's like Alex Pollock in the 92, but yeah, right now, kind of a little bit of a breakaway on that inside line. And I'll tell you what, if I had to pick any driver in this field to be pushing me at the end of this race, I'm going to be picking that number 8 of Adam Holston, because he's able to just kind of leave that inside line all alone and push the leader out to a sizable gap.
Yeah, he's somebody that I would definitely feel very comfortable pushing me in the closing stages of this thing. And I think that's one thing that we haven't talked too much about, Johnny, about tonight is, drivers that you want to have pushing you. These drivers who have been racing pretty hard tonight, I think that they're in a pretty good position to know, like, all right, this is a driver I would want behind me, and this is a driver maybe that I wouldn't want behind me. There's definitely some people that maybe you wouldn't want behind them. As I think there is some jockeying going on up here in front. Oh, some contact from the rear of, you're looking ahead right here at David Rydell. That's Jacob Cochran, and I think that Cochran was trying to make a move on David Rydell, and maybe some mirror driving going on up in front of Cochran.
Yeah, definitely a little bit of probably a late move down from the top lane. But, hey, he's going to assume the lead on that inside line. It's going to hand over the outside line to Christian Barnes once again. And we've seen him up front all night long. He's been doing a great job of leading his line. And looks like he's clear. Is he going to move down? I think he is. He thinks better of it. He's going to get himself hung out to dry because of it.
Yeah, Tyler Stevenson, another driver who has recovered from some earlier adversity. He's going to take the run to the top right here. He's got Nick Ruffini, the driver we saw tumbling earlier in this race. He is going to try to lock bumpers maybe right here with that number 98 of Tyler Stevenson. Meanwhile, in that middle lane, Reggie Kime. Reggie Kime's another driver who has overcome some adversity tonight. He's pushing Christian Barnes in that 27. A great push going into turn 3 right there. It's going to push Barnes right there side by side with David Rydell. See if maybe they can get some momentum right here off of turn number 4. I feel like the intensity right here, Johnny, we were pretty calm right there for about the last like 10, 15 laps. So I feel like it's kind of... Oh, we got one car sideways right there. That's Aaron Espy, Tyler Stevenson, Brad T. Nelson, Brett Wren. The number 30 car also turned around. That's Seth Heyman. Several cars involved right here on the front stretch. And Johnny, I think that we were kind of alluding to it just a second ago. The intensity, man, it had really picked up in the last about 5 laps.
Yeah, it really had. We thought it was dying off for just a moment there, but yeah, hey, a little bit further back here we see, maybe just a bad block from I'm trying to see which car that is. Is that the 98 of... I
think so. Yeah, I think that was the 98 of Tyler Stevenson. Yeah, I think that you had that exactly right. I think that there was possible lane change right there from the 98 across the front bumper, maybe of the 33 of Brad T. Nelson. And we see that 98. He's up there in that third lane, and yeah, well, Brad T. Nelson kind of up there a little bit. He was in the middle, so maybe those two kind of just met right there, and that's super speedway racing right there. Unfortunately, Seth Heyman caught up in it, could not get by. Aaron Espy, we saw him with some pretty significant contact as well. There's Evan Janik just riding around at the back of this thing, trying to wait it all out right there as he's going to escape another one pretty much damage-free right there in that number 71 right here. Riding on board with Seth Heyman. I'm going to show you the view that he had up ahead, and a lot of smoke, Johnny.
Yeah, definitely. Hey, there's nowhere to go in a wreck like that, and I mean, really not. I don't think there's going to be too much damage on that car. It looks like it's kicked out a little bit. It was pretty hard impact with the right rear there, but yeah, hopefully something he's able to get fixed back up. Yeah.
That thing is crabbing, Johnny. That thing is really crabbing. Yeah, so and here we are, Johnny, with 20 laps to go. We've seen a lot of carnage here, seen a lot of great racing, but there has been a lot of carnage on the track. So as these drivers have made their way down pit road and off of pit road, setting themselves up now for the closing stages of this thing. Christian Barnes is going to lead them off pit road. It was like he took just fuel only, or maybe just right side tires. Yeah, we've seen a lot of carnage, so we're getting down to it right here where we have to wonder just how many drivers have quick repairs left, and how many of them are just going to have to get their damage fixed the old-fashioned way.
That's definitely a topic of discussion, but another thing that that caution does is it really it saves all these drivers from having to make that green flag pit stop, and yeah, that's probably a huge deal for a lot of these guys as they hey, you can come down under caution, get all your tires and fuel to the end, I assume, and not have to risk making a mistake getting into the pits, potential wrecks, sliding through your box, anything like that. So definitely definitely a lucky break for a lot of these drivers.
It definitely is, and kind of takes a lot of the pressure off of them. There's usually a great deal of pressure to try to make sure that you maintain the draft on a green flag pit stop for sure. So definitely some probably breathing a sigh of relief to get that caution. Before we go back green right here for the final about 17, 18 laps right here, I think it might be a good time, Johnny, to hear from one of our partners here at Slingshot TV. Whiplash SimCams provides us with all these great camera shots that you see right here that Johnny so masterfully displays for all of you watching at home. We're very appreciative for their support here at Slingshot TV. So we're going to hear from them really quick. We'll be back on the other end of this break. Back here live at the Talladega Superspeedway here with the Fall Creek Plumbing National Series from the Mystic Racing League. I'm Chris Smith, joined in the booth tonight by Johnny Rapp. We're going to wish our teammate Ellis Thomas well. Fortunately, Ellis could not be here with us tonight. He's feeling a little bit under the weather, but hey, we hope that he's getting better right now. If he's watching, we'll send our well wishes to him right here. Can't wait to see him back out next week, maybe when we hit the track at Martinsville next week. Field is doubled up right here. They've already chosen their lane right here. Christian Barnes going to choose that inside lane, and he is going to have that series newcomer of David Riddell behind him in that number 60. Adam Holston on the outside lane right here in that number 8. We've been talking about how fast that number 8 car has been all night. Of course, he's got that Dale Jr. Budweiser All-Star Game throwback on that car. It's just fitting that it's fast on a super speedway with Alex Pollock right behind him, Johnny. And man, I think that this is going to shape itself out to be one heck of a finish right here for these drivers right here. We want to give a special shout out to a driver, not to a driver, but to a fan who always tunes in right here to Slingshot TV. Sorry, Connor, that we missed your super chat earlier. We've decided to reward you for all your support right here, and we're going to crank it up on this restart. So you turn that volume up right there on your TV as you listen to all of these horses unleashed here at Talladega. On this restart, as we cranked it up right there, they are starting to make their way to that top lane right there. We've seen the third lane work its way up there near the front, but done so sparingly tonight, and we're seeing a lot more takers here. We've seen 2 or 3 cars there. Now we've got 4 cars, possibly more, even looking to work their way up there, as that is that number 28. We've seen the Ryans up there. That's Jeff Ryan, and that's the number 99 down there, up there behind him. That is Tommy Ryan. Sure, there is a relation of some kind between them, as, man, Tommy had Jeff all kinds of sideways right there as they turn into the travel. 3x3x3 for the lead.
Some incredible racing action here. Three wide for the lead. Christian Barnes on the inside. It looks like Adam Holston in the middle. And then is that the 28 of Jeff Ryan on the outside. Still falling back a little bit, but still 3 wide all throughout the top 20 here. It's really, the action has picked up here with only 11 or 15 laps to go.
Which lane do you want to be in? Pick your poison right here, as, man, these drivers are deciding right here. Seeing a lot of lane changing going on. Adam Holson moved to the middle, now moves back to the bottom. He's got Christian Barnes right tucked up behind him right there. That's that number 92 of Alex Pollock, getting a good push in the middle right here from Jacob Cochran. Seeing a lot of the drivers that we saw there in the early stages of this final stage up there at the front, working their way back up to the front now, as well as starting to get in mind who you want to work with in the closing stages of this thing, who you want your dance partner to be. Seeing some connection flashes right there from that number 60 of David Rydell. I wonder right there if that is going to factor into how close these drivers might want to get to the rear bumper or even side by side with David. I know it has to put them at a little bit of unease as they're around him right here as he continues to blink entering turn 3. Oh, as he gets close right there to Alex Pollock in the 92.
Yeah, I think you can kind of see it unfolding live here as kind of the cars behind him kind of backed off a little bit. They're getting back there now, but definitely something that's going to be on your mind. It looks like, oh man, a little bit of a moment there for Pollock, and I believe that is Michael Wade right behind him. I'm not sure, but yeah, they're able to gather it back up. Those outside lines kind of falling back a little bit now as we see the 60 locked up on the 27.
Yeah, the 60 is locked up on the 27, pushing the 27 into the 8. That does get a little bit dicey, Johnny. We talked about that earlier right there, but I think the aggression is also kind of helping that inside lane kind of break free a little bit from the middle lane and the top lane. All that jockeying for position kind of sent that outside lane back a little bit. The Ryan's kind of slipping back right here. And, you know, if you're Tommy in that 99, we got a lot of sideways cars right there ending the tri-oval. If you're Tommy in the 99, that Chevy has got to be pretty hot. We're 4 wide as they exit the tri-oval. That's Nick Ruffini, Zach White, trouble into turn 1. Michael Wade hard into the wall right there. More cars involved in front of them. Zach White slides down the banking. I think we had a couple more cars involved in front of them also. Put the caution flag back out with 12 laps remaining in this thing. And I don't think that we've seen the last one here, Johnny, as the intensity is just going to pick up more and more over the course of this thing.
Yeah, I think we could have saw that one coming a mile away here. We're going to go back just a little bit further. See that 04 trying to make that 4 wide move. And he kind of gets pinballed back and forth a little bit between the 77 and the 3. And yeah, just, man, back and forth until, it's just too much. 3's involved. 77 looks like it's going to have a pretty hard hit to the outside wall there. And very unfortunate with just over 10 laps to go.
Yeah, I saw Trevor Hunt in the 59. It looked like he received some damage in that crash. Also, the 79 of Harold Tucker. I think that he also maybe received some damage in that crash too. So very unfortunate for a lot of these drivers right here. We'll go back to get a little bit of another view right there. You'll see that 4 wide contact occur right there. Trevor Hunt into the outside wall. Zach White comes back down the hill right there. You see Harold Tucker sideways. He saved it though. A great save for Tucker right there. And yeah, he's going to continue on right there. But yeah, that's not going to be the last one I think that we see before the end of this thing right here. Field working its way through turns 3 and 4 right here. Put Adam Holson out in front and in control of this thing. We heard from him earlier and how he was going to start working his way. He decided he was going to forego stage number 1 and forego some of those stage points. He started working his way there towards the front. We saw him really fast with Jacob Cochran. He's in front of this thing and he's in control. I do like where he's at. I think that being in control of this thing is a very good position to be in. So one thing that I think that I heard him talking about in the pre-race was possibly getting his teammate Alex Pollock a win tonight. We know Alex Pollock has to really get a win, we think, to make his way into the playoffs. So I think it might be a good time, Johnny, if we got a second right here under the caution, and I think that we do. They might be taking the choose right here, so I'm not going to interrupt the choose, but I think that we might try to pull that driver of the 92 into the booth. They are making the choose right here, so as soon as he does that, we'll go ahead and pull him into the booth now. Alex Pollock, driver of the number 92. This is the Slingshot booth. You have a copy?
Yes, sir. How you doing?
I'm doing well. The question is, how are you doing in that number 92 machine? You've been up there near the front. You've got your teammate right there in front of you. Heard the drivers right there in your channel talking about maybe trying to work together to get you a win tonight. How do you feel about your chances right there in that 92?
Yeah, we'll see. The first 2 stages were boring as hell, riding them back, saving the car, but I still have a fast repair, so that's good. I think Adam's going to take bottom here. I'm going to take top. I can't get pinned in. I have to win or else I'm out of the playoffs. So we'll see what happens. I think Cochran will be behind me. Christian will be behind Adam, and we'll hopefully have a drag race to the finish.
Kind of answered my question right there. If you were thinking race win tonight, and I think that you answered that pretty emphatically right there. How's the racing been out there tonight from the perspective of that 92 car?
I can't tell you how the first 2 stages were because I was lost the draft on purpose. But that stage there, or that run there, wasn't bad. We ran 3 wide for a good amount of laps. The 60 car blinking, though, is very scary. So I think they issued him an EOL, so he should be in the back. So that should help. But so far, so good. We'll see how this final 8 laps or whatever it is goes.
Well, hey, keep that thing clean to the end right here and bring it home. Bring it home up there near the front of this thing. Good luck the rest of the way.
Thanks, Chris.
Appreciate it. All right, that's Alex Pollock, driver of the number 92. We feel like he kind of mentioned it, Johnny. He's kind of sitting in a position right here where we feel like he is a must-win driver coming in tonight, 37 points behind the cut line.
Yeah, and I mean, hey, it's the best place to be in a must-win position, but it's also the worst because there's 30 other cars that can go out there and do the same thing. But We're going to see them take that choose. As he mentioned, Adam's going to stay low, and he's going to go up high, it looks like.
Yeah, these drivers do make the choose right here. You can see those choosing the inside, those choosing the outside. Holston inside with Barnes. Pollock on the outside with Cochran. People not looking up. They're not giving up any rows at all, it doesn't look like, Johnny. And an Alex Pollock win tonight, man, that would really upset this playoff picture a lot for some of those drivers up there near the front of this thing. That would put Adam Holston on the bubble going into Martinsville next week. That would be a significant development in the playoff picture. And Evan Janik would be sitting, you know, if everything were to go like this right here, Evan Janik would be sitting with a very small cushion if Alex Pollock were to get the win tonight. So that would be a huge development in the playoff picture.
Yeah, it definitely would shake things up, and hey, it's definitely not outside the realm of possibility, but we're going to have to see. We still have just a handful of laps here to settle this thing out. Looks like 9 to go, coming to 8 to go when we take the green flag, and I think you're going to see the intensity ramped up to 11 here on these final few laps.
Definitely think so as well. I agree with you, Johnny, and we're so happy to have so many of you tuning in, rooting on your favorite drivers. It's championship season right here in the Mystic Racing League in the Fall Creek Plumbing National Series. Thank you all for tuning in right here. We got Brett Wren as well tuning into the chat. Thank you, Brett, right here. Sorry for your misfortune on the track right here. He's rooting on his teammate, Alex Pollock. Want to see him get a win tonight. Right now, the field is going to be the hands of the other five-star racing teammate. That is the number 8 of Adam Holston. He's going to be on the inside with Christian Barnes. Right behind him, Alex Pollock leading the outside lane with Jacob Cochran pushing him. Pace cars off the track field working its way in the tri-oval. Going to be 8 laps to go right here when we take the green flag. Adam Holston mashes that gas. We're back under green right here as the inside lane a little bit broken apart right here on this restart. That top lane seems to be a lot more organized. Oh no, Adam Holston, he's back. Kind of blinked out for just a minute right there. I know that pain. He's going to come back right there, though, and get a good push from Christian Barnes to get him back going.
Here we go. The Rhymes, Jeff Rhyme, Reggie Rhyme, Tommy Ryan, looking to make that third lane work right now. Just drawing a bead on the number 84 of Cochran, but yeah, not able to do it. That was looking like they wanted to shake things up there on the first lap of this restart, but
yeah, that's another set of teammates right there. I think that we definitely got to be aware of in the closing stages of this thing. We saw them on the inside at the beginning of this final stage earlier, but then they moved their way up to that third lane. They're not afraid to go up there. As man, I think one significant development is that leader, Adam Holston, is having all kinds of connection issues, and you know that's got to be making Christian Barnes extremely uneasy right behind him. It makes it impossible to be able to push Adam Holston. So you're not sure when he's going to reappear, if he disappears, and if you're maybe possibly even going to go through that rear bumper of that number 8 machine. And I think, Johnny, that's allowing that outside lane, just that uncertainty is allowing that outside lane to draw even.
Yeah, it definitely is. It's definitely not a position you want to be in, but it looks like it's cleared up for now. But when it comes down to the end of this thing and push comes to shove, you don't want that car disappearing in front of you. But right now, definitely locked back in, and they're going to surge ahead just a touch here to lead this lap. And that 92, with the help of Cochran on the outside, is just begging for some momentum.
Intensity ramping up right here, folks. 6 laps to go here from Talladega. Christian Barnes going to try to jump out in front of Alex Pollock. Some aggressive blocking going on right there. Pollock's trying to get to the middle right there. Barnes is going to have none of it. That's going to hang Jacob Cochran out on the outside. He doesn't have much help right there in the 84. Looks like Christian Barnes really wanted to be on the outside. I think maybe he recognized that that was his position. That was his chance to put himself up in the lead of the outside lane. think maybe he recognized that as his position that he really needed to be in right here as the field works its way through the tri-oval, coming to just 5 laps to go.
Yeah, what an incredible move. Man, definitely a little sketchy, but hey, he's able to make it work, and he's going to have that outside line with the help of Pollock now. And we're starting to see that third line develop just a little bit further back, and I think, we see 3 or 4 cars into the wall back here.
Oh,
we reckon.
Harold Tucker. Yeah, he got turned around right there. That's the number 60 of David Rydell. He gets turned around also. They're spinning down to the inside. The 84 of Jacob Cochran is in it. We're still green right here. Race control has decided to let this thing run out. We are still green here at Talladega. Adam Holson is in control of this thing. Derek Jewett behind him coming into this race. 2 points behind the cut line right here. Jewett and Barnes right here want to try to work themselves into position to possibly win and advance in the playoffs. Christian Barnes has the push right here from the number 28 of Jeff Ryan. The Ryans have been separated. Tommy Ryan slipping back on that top lane right there. But meanwhile, Johnny, is coming down to push to shove right here, and you want to work with your teammates, but sometimes circumstances just find yourself separated from them.
Yeah, hey, you still got to do what you got to do to win this race, and it's at the end, it's every man for himself anyway. But man, what a huge shakeup in the in the order here because of that. We've seen the 92 of Pollock drop way back. He's all the way 3rd car in line on that outside line now. Those aspirations of winning this race may be dwindling away. As we see the 3 trying to go 3 wide here, and a little bit of a move up front. Oh my.
Yeah, that was close. That was really close right there between those drivers. Just about 15 cars left in this lead pack as that wreck kind of broke the pack apart. Some drivers trying to catch back up right here. Meanwhile, we're going to focus on the front of this thing right here. Christian Barnes trying to race his way into the playoffs. Into the championship race, at Homestead, and Adam Holson looking to hold on to his position, looking to secure his way in there. A lot of playoff drivers up here at the front of this thing, but meanwhile, you got some drivers that just want to find themselves in victory lane. People like Tyler Stevenson, Michael Wade, they're up here as well, trying to find their way into victory lane. So they work their way through the tri-oval, come into 2 laps to go. It's anybody's guess who's going to bring home this checkered flag. They're 3 wide. They're 4 wide. Michael Wade into the wall. Several cars involved. Reggie Kimes involved. Tyler Stevenson's involved. Alex Pollock's in it. Some of our championship drivers trying to lock themselves into the next race or into the round of 4. Find themselves spinning out right here, Johnny. And maybe, just maybe, some drivers find their championship hopes dashed right here. Let's go back to see if we can find what happened.
Yeah, this was just a bit of a scatter. We saw the 3 go up, maybe trying to block that 3rd lane, and it was just a little bit too late. That's what really started all of this, and everybody kind of ping-ponging off of each other. A lot of hard impacts. We see the 9 of Reggie Kime, the 98, that 3 with another hard impact. 92 of Pollock, we were just talking about him. He's involved. I'm not sure how much damage, but that might be the end of his playoff hopes.
Yeah, that is so unfortunate for Alex Pollock. We talked to him as they were coming to the restart right there, and he knew what he had to do. He knew what he needed to do, and I felt like he put himself in good position. But that's just the nature of super speedway racing, Johnny. And Reggie Kime is another one involved. I think that Reggie has used a quick repair, so unfortunately for that Butterfinger machine, he's going to put himself maybe in a difficult position heading into Martinsville next week, possibly needing a must-win there. He was on that inside lane right behind Derek Jewett, 3rd car back right there. This sort of slow-down image will give you a great perspective of Michael Wade trying to come up right there, recognizing the momentum that 28 had right there. Unfortunately, they get hooked down the track right there. Tyler Stevenson and Reggie Kime getting turned into the wall right there. We'll have to see how significant, the damage is on some of these cars. I see Reggie Kime still rolling around on the track. on the apron. I also see the 92 machine of Alex Pollock. He's still rolling around as well. But both of those cars, Johnny, they've got a lot of damage to them. And there's some drivers that, could be worse. You could be like that number 30 machine of Seth Heyman right there, and you could still be crab walking on the track.
Yeah, definitely huge development late in this race, though. And, we saw it. Just, huge wreck. That is definitely the quintessential Talladega big one there. We saw upwards of 10 cars involved. And, hey, we're going to see who has their faster pair left and who doesn't. And, we're going to re-rack them for a green-white-checkered.
Yeah, this will set us up for a green-white-checkered finish. And some drivers, Johnny, I think that they were probably hoping that this would not happen. They would not find themselves up there for a green-white-checkered. But alas, here we are right here. And you're going to have Christian Barnes up at the front of this thing, Johnny. He's a driver that was beneath the cut line, who could find himself, punching his tickets to the championship race at Homestead Miami Speedway. Derek Jewett in third, another driver who could find himself. Derek Jewett was the winner at Daytona earlier this year. So we know he knows how to get it done on super speedways. So, those drivers, I think they're thinking checkered flag tonight, if they can possibly get it. I want to give a quick call to our driver that came into the playoffs, the number 1 seed, Evan Janik. It has been such a quiet night for Evan, and here he is in that 71. He used his quick repair earlier. No damage on that 71 machine right here, and here we are, 2 laps to go, Johnny, and he finds himself in 10th spot in that 71. I think that I think he's done just about everything that he can do tonight. Unfortunately, Talladega is just the way it is. But he's put himself in position right here to walk out of here with a pretty decent points night.
Absolutely. And, hey, still could sneak away with the win here. Anything can happen at Talladega. And I know it's only going to be 2 laps, but that's plenty of time for some people to make mistakes. And if you get locked up with the right guy, you can be contending for this win in no time.
You absolutely can right here, as the field is going to work its way right here into the tri-oval. And I think as a bunch of drivers are going to come off pit road from getting some damage fixed, I want to update everybody on Alex Pollock. He did have a quick repair, so the 92 is back on the track right now as drivers make the choose. Christian Barnes choosing the inside, Adam Holson the outside. Derek Jewett going to the inside along with Brad T. Nelson. Nelson is teammates with Christian Barnes, I believe, so not surprised at all to maybe see him stay on the inside. Maybe electing to try to do everything they can to make sure Christian Barnes has all the energy he possibly can on that inside lane. Aaron Espy is going to choose the outside behind Adam Holson. I think Aaron is a driver that he's very aggressive on super speedways, but he's one that I would want behind me because I know how good of a pusher he might be. So a lot of great drafters, Johnny, up here at the front of this thing, and including a driver. I don't think we've said a word about him all night, but give a call to the Mystic Racing League admin, Brandon Willard, up in the 7th spot. Great run for Brandon right here, and he finds himself in contention at the end of this thing, Johnny.
Yeah, hey, kind of sneaking his way into the top 10. And, I mean, hey, they pays the money at the end, not throughout the rest of the race. So he's up here when it matters. I do want to say, as we're getting ready for this final restart, it's your last, well, hopefully your last chance to tell us in the chat, who do you think's going to win this thing? We got man, there's plenty of contenders still out here, all the way back to the 92 and other cars that just took their fast repair. It all comes down to this, and yeah, I don't know. I think I'm going to... I've done it before. That 16 just looks like it's going to be the winner tonight.
I wouldn't be a bit surprised at all to see him in victory lane, but I think I'm going to go with the 27. I know it's kind of maybe cheap to pick the leader, but think that Christian Barnes has been very aggressive right here. I think he's made a lot of really good moves here in the closing stages. I think that he might possibly bring home that checkered flag. Pace car peels off. This is the green-white-checkered from Talladega, and this is the final 2 laps of the second race of the round of 8 right here. Christian Barnes mashes the gas. We're green at Talladega. Derek Jewett trying to push him clear of Adam Holson. Holson right there trying to get that push from the number 16 car of Aaron Espy. Bottom lane going to kind of clear that top lane right there. Adam Holson pulling down, trying to side draft, get really close to that right rear quarter panel of that number 45 of Derek Jewett. Top lane coming with a lot of momentum down the backstretch right here. Holston with a good push from Espy.
Oh, the 33 of Brad T. Nelson all over the place sideways. He's able to gather it back up. We're 3 wide back here for about 6th or 7th position. The looks like the 03 of Stephen Gill trying to make that middle lane work. And they're going to die down a little bit as we're coming through the trial to take the Whiplash Simcams. 1 to go. Up front, Adam Holston on the outside with Christian Barnes on the inside.
Adam Holston clears Christian Barnes on the inside. He's going to jump down in front of Barnes, protecting that position right there, leaving Aaron Espy out there on the top lane right here. I think Adam Holston recognized that as possibly his chance right there to put himself in control of this race. Here comes Barnes trying to jump out in front of them. They're wrecking behind them, but we're still green here at Talladega. A big crash down the backstretch. Barnes is out in front of Adam Holston. He's going to slide down in front of Holston. Really close right there between the 27 and the 8. The 27 trying to advance his way into the next round. He's beneath the cut line right there. More cars crashing behind them. But Holston and Barnes are going to duke it out right here for the win. Barnes is sideways. Here's Holston underneath. Derek Jewett on the apron. Contact behind Barnes. But coming to the line, Christian Barnes is going to punch his ticket into the to the race for the championship at Homestead. What a finish here at Talladega.
How did he hang on to that thing as they were coming off of 4? That contact was made. We're going to have to go back. We got a lot to unpack after that that last restart. But Christian Barnes, masterful job behind the wheel to hang on to that thing and come home with the win.
Christian Barnes did an amazing job to hold on to the win right there. Great job by him right there. You know, I wouldn't have given him anything to save that car, Johnny. I was with you. I thought that he was a goner right there. We had a couple of crashes break out behind them right there, but yeah, we'll see if we can go back and, as you said, kind of unpack all this action right here. There is that 27 of Christian Barnes. He was duking it out right there with Adam Holston up at the front of this thing. Gonna be some. Yeah, so this is them, I think, coming to the white flag right here. We saw some lane changing going on, and the drivers in the back right here trying to make up as much ground as they can, trying to make up as much momentum as they can. And, yeah, Holston slides down in front of them. They're 3 wide right there, Johnny.
Yeah, I think that is the 60 of David Riedel, and that's where this all starts. A little bit of contact back and forth, and yeah, spinning down the backstretch, that took out like 10 cars all at once right there.
Oh, man. Some big hits.
And then after that, we had another wreck, I think, coming out of 4 here. I want to say it's maybe involving is that the 39?
Yeah, I think that was a 39 of Gavin Henson. Unfortunately, Gavin taking a lot of damage, and that is big in the championship picture right there. He is going to take some pretty significant damage and possibly hurt his championship hopes. I don't think the wreck started with Gavin, as we can see that that big crash that David Riddell was in right there, breaking out behind those guys. We see them entering turn 3 right here. Christian Barnes trying to protect that position right there. And you'll see right here back behind him, Gavin Henson. Yeah, that looks like maybe Stephen Gill and Harold Tucker made some contact, and unfortunately, and this is where you're going to see, look at how sideways that 27 is. It doesn't look like a lot, but after being in the driver's seat, it is definitely a handful of wheel that he had to hold on to in that 27 machine. And they start crashing behind him, and Christian Barnes punched his ticket into the round of 4, the championship race at Homestead, Miami.
Incredible show, and I think we're going to step away for just a quick word from iRacing as we get the post-race interviews lined up here. So we'll be right back on the other end.
Back here live at the Talladega Superspeedway, getting ready to talk to our podium finishers for tonight. A great night of action at Talladega from the Fall Creek Plumbing National Series. We're going to hear from all the podium finishers, but we're going to start with our third place finisher, bringing him into Sofa News Victory Lane post-race interviews. That's Adam Holson, driver of the number 8. Adam Holson, this is the Slingshot booth. You got a copy?
Yes, sir.
Adam, we talked to you earlier. You mentioned that you were just kind of riding in the early stages of this thing right there, but you were about to light this candle, and you definitely did. You're one of the fastest drivers, and definitely up there in the closing stages of this thing. Take us back there to that final green-white-checkered right there. Did everything play out? I know that you wanted to bring home the victory right there. Kind of rewind a little bit. Is there anything maybe you wish that you could have done slightly differently in the closing stages of this thing?
I'm really not sure. I think I probably should have stayed up on the high line with the 16 there. But I was really thinking that I could clear down and maybe the 16 would have enough momentum to pin the 27 behind me. And he was my biggest worry, 'cause another playoff driver below the cutoff line. But that wasn't really the case.
Well, you did everything that you definitely could tonight. You mentioned before, we were talking to you earlier, and you mentioned maybe some of the newcomers here in this race right here had you a little bit worried right there. What were your thoughts about some of the racing that you saw out there on the track tonight? Did it live up to what you were hoping for?
Yeah, it was definitely some good racing. I mean, there was some aggressive moves going on, but other than that, it was some good racing, and on my part, I managed to keep the car clean, so I'm happy with that.
Yeah, it was definitely entertaining from up here in the booth, that's for sure. We're headed to Martinsville next week, Adam, for the final race right here in the round of 8. I know that you came out of here with a good points night, but a lot can happen at Martinsville. How do you feel about your chances there, and looking at where you might be in the playoff picture heading into that race?
I think going into Martinsville, I'm just hoping for no new winners and to have a clean race again. And Martinsville's one of them tracks, just a short track that generally I'm good at, but Martinsville's not that one. So I'm gonna have to tough it out and maybe sneak my way on that cutoff line.
We're going to be excited to watch it. We know that you'll put on a great show next week at Martinsville. We're excited to see all the action, and we know it'll be just as entertaining as it was out here tonight at Talladega. Before we let you celebrate this great third-place finish tonight, do you have any shout-outs for the folks watching at home?
Yeah, I'll shout out Ricky LaFleur out there in the crowd, and Andrew Shobe, and I'll shout out Black Diamond Designs for the paint scheme, 5 Star Racing for working together and strategizing through all this whole season to get this far. So hats off to all y'all boys out there. And I'll shout out y'all up there in the booth putting on a good show.
Well, we'll shout out you and all these Mystic Racing League drivers for keeping it entertaining tonight. Y'all definitely put on a great show yourselves. That is Adam Holson, our third place finisher tonight. Great run, bud. Congratulations.
Thank you.
We are going to move Adam Holson to the waiting room right here, and we are going to bring in our second place finisher tonight. That's Derek Jewett, and I'm going to hand it off to you, Mr. Johnny Rapp.
Derek Jewett coming home second place after an up and down night, including a flip. Take us through just what it took to get the podium done here tonight.
Yeah, first of all, I want to thank you guys for broadcasting. Like always, you guys do an amazing job. Qualified 11th. Was hoping for to have a calm stage one, but I got to look back and see what exactly happened. But that right there, I just in my head, I was just telling myself it was over. But we just ended up bouncing back and staying out of trouble and avoiding the big ones. 101 wreck avoidance, and I try to get that win and lock myself in the final four, but Christian Barnes, he was just so hard to pass.
Yeah, well, you made a valiant effort at the end there. That was an incredible race to the line to watch, and great job from all you guys holding on to it, putting on a good show for us. But man, the point situation is tight, man. And how are you feeling going into Martinsville?
Yeah, I mean, we have to see, where we are. Winning stage 2 really helped, getting that 5 bonus points, leading lap, and obviously finishing second. So, I know Martinsville, it's going to be dive bomb city. Anybody that needs a point is going to shove everybody out of the way. Hopefully we don't get to that point. I'd rather be point-wise in the Final Four than outside looking in. I think it would be easier to defend than be on the offense trying to sneak in on points. But we'll have to see how the points shake out. But, I'm just proud of myself and proud of Aaron, pushing me mentally and trying to get me, Aaron Baum, I should say, just trying to get me going. Today has been kind of a rough day. I went from Kansas City to Chicago and had to get everything set up. So hopefully we put on a good show for you guys, and hopefully we're in the Final Four point wise as of right now.
Yeah, well, you absolutely did, and yeah, we definitely appreciate it. And hey, you did a pretty good job for having all that stuff going on in your life to come out here and put on a show like that at the end. We really appreciate it. Before we let you go, celebrate that podium finish, the floor is yours to thank any sponsors, teammates, friends, family at home watching. Have at it.
Yeah, obviously I want to thank you guys for putting on a great show. No offense to anybody that does our broadcasting. I think you guys are the best. I've been saying that every time that I get an opportunity. So you guys are amazing. So hopefully we get to talk to you guys next week and in the Final Four, and hopefully when I win the championship. But you guys, Aaron Baum, like I said, he's been grinding. Going into the playoffs, I was like, I'm not gonna win. I'm not even gonna make it into the round of 8, round of 4, whatever. And he's been grinding and giving me inputs that I need and just keeping me mentally stable. So shout out to him. A shout out to my older brother Ryan. He's turning 40 Sunday, so that's why we're in Chicago. We're going to see the Chicago Cubs slaughter the St. Louis Cardinals this weekend. So shout out to him for his 40th birthday. And then obviously Beast Unleash, Amit Box, Joshua Everett, Non-Typical Designs for making my paint schemes. Fall Creek Clubbing for sponsoring the event. CHGO, they're going to hook us up with a gift pack here over the weekend. So shout out to them and anybody else that I'm missing. Shout out to Barnesy and Adam Holston. They helped me out tonight too.
Right on. Well, hey, once again, congratulations, and hopefully we get to talk to you up here next week.
All right, I appreciate it. Thanks, guys.
Thank you. And that's going to put Derek Jewett, our second place finisher, in a good spot heading into that final race of the round of 8 next week at Martinsville. Now it's time, Johnny. We're going to bring in our winner tonight. Christian Barnes, going to bring him into Sofa News Victory Lane. Christian Barnes, driver of the 27, our winner tonight. This is the Slingshot booth. You got a copy. Uh-oh. Christian Barnes, do you have us?
There. Yes, sir, I do now.
Hey, Christian, man, yeah, you put on one heck of a show right there in the final stages of this thing. I think that Derek Jewett summed it up best when he said that you were really hard to pass out there tonight. We saw some aggressive moves out of you, some really good moves, bold and daring right there. Tell us about your mindset coming into tonight, and some of those moves that you made right there in the closing stages of that thing. They definitely put you in good position to, control the race in the final stages.
And I think I came in 8 below the cut line, and I saw Adam up there, I saw Alex up there, Jewett, all the guys that I'm specifically racing for points, and really any one of us that gets the win, it's instantly in. I wanted to get stage points, but I don't think I might have got second in one of them, but everybody else got stage points too, so I didn't really gain much. So I was like, it's either send it for the win, make a block, hope it works, or live to say finish 5th or something. And you just don't want to go in a points deficit, going into Martinsville. Anything could happen at that race, so I had to make a daring move. I usually don't make crazy blocks like that, but I had to make one to make it to the top Champ 4.
So it sounds like to me that you were thinking tonight was a must-win sort of situation for you. I know you were only 8 down coming in, but heading into the unknown that is Martinsville, a lot can happen there. Were you treating tonight like it was a must-win?
Oh yeah, because you just don't want to go in a deficit. I mean, anything could happen at Martinsville, a stack up, you can just barely get booted, you spin, and you just don't want to go in, having to have a good night. Because I don't think anybody's going to get out of that race with a clean car, clean bumper. So I felt this was the main one. This was the main race of this round that, needed to go good, needed to go perfect, and, it actually did.
It did for you. We saw you make one crazy save out there on the track right there as you guys were working your way down there towards the checkered flag. You got really sideways right there when you were battling it out with Derek Jewett right there. But you brought it home with the victory in style in that number 27. Thinking ahead as we go to the championship race at Homestead right there, how do you feel heading into Homestead? Is that a place that you consider yourself to be in a really good position to contend for the win there?
Oh, 100%. I've been getting a little bit better with these Fendi cars. I know that at least last week didn't really show it. I just had one of those nights where things just didn't go right, but I'm usually pretty good at the 1.5 miles. I actually have 1 win so far this season out of 1.5 miles. So as long as I can just have a clean night, not make any stupid mistakes like last week, I think I'll be up there at the end.
We are looking forward to seeing you out there. Congratulations on making the championship 4 at Homestead. We're excited to see what you can do out there. Before we let you go celebrate this great victory here tonight, we're going to hand it over to you for any shout-outs that you might have for family or friends watching at home. Take it away, sir.
I want to thank Alex Paul for making my paid schemes. I want to thank WFR, my team, Brad and Gavin. They're the main help tonight, including Derek Jewett as well. So I just want to thank all those guys, and I also want to thank Precision for having me on. Pretty much it.
Well, congratulations, Christian Barnes, on your great victory to punch your ticket into the championship 4. Great job out there, man. Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
That will set the stage, Johnny, for our championship, for our round of 8 finale next week at Martinsville. What an incredible night of racing tonight, all night, and Johnny, these Fall Creek Plumbing National drivers, they do not disappoint here in the Mystic Racing League every single week, and they brought the action tonight.
Yeah, they certainly did. We saw a little bit of everything from 3 and 4 wide racing to some flips and an incredible finish. All in all, an excellent evening from the Mystic Racing drivers, and hey, we're excited to get after it for these next 2 races.
We absolutely are right here, and we're going to take you through your final results right here from Talladega as Christian Barnes bringing home the victory and punching his ticket into the championship race at Homestead. Derek Jewett, he's going to finish in second. A great points night for him and a great points night also for Adam Holson. That's going to make things very interesting heading into that final race at Martinsville before the championship at Homestead. Aaron Espy, we saw him up front all night. He's going to finish 4th. Evan Janik didn't bring home any stage points tonight. I don't think he brought home any stage points, but he does bring home the car, in good shape and with a 5th place finish. So a good points night for Evan Janik tonight. Brad T. Nelson, last night's winner, he's going to finish in 6th. Stephen Gill will finish in 7th in the 0-3. Joshua Gillen, Roll Tide, is going to bring it home in 8th. Tommy Ryan in his series debut will finish in 9th. And Seth Heyman crab walked that thing home to a 10th place finish.
Incredible run from him there at the end. Definitely a good rebound, I guess. 11th place is going to be Harold Tucker in that number 79. Reggie Kine, after that that one wreck later on there, he was running pretty good, comes home 12th. We got Jacob Cochran in the 84 coming in 13th. He was a contender all night long. David Riedel in 14th place in that number 60. So I'm involved in some incidents, but he was also up front for a while too. And we have Trevor Hunt coming in 15th in the 59. Gavin Henson in the 39 coming in 16th. Alex Pollock, unfortunate end to what he thought was a must-win scenario tonight. It's going to come home 17th in that number 92. And we have the Jeff Ryan in the 28 coming home 18th. Saw them up front tonight. And definitely not the result that they were looking for. Nick Raffini coming home 19th with Zach White rounding out the top 20.
And the 21st spot, we've got Brandon Willard. We saw Brandon up there at the front in the late stages. Unfortunately, he's going to get caught up in one of those late race crashes and finish in 21st. Michael Wade is going to bring it home in 22nd. In the 23rd spot, we've got Tyler Stevenson, another driver who ran up front early in the race, but unfortunately is going to have to settle for 23rd. In the 24th spot, we've got Caleb Hunt. He will bring it home 24th in that Alabama band car. Brett Wren is going to finish in 25th. In the 26th spot, we've got Justin Schaub. All these drivers you see right here in the remaining positions, they got caught up in crashes earlier in the race. Brendan Reed is going to finish in 27th. Kenneth Cucko in the 28th position. Casey Bristow, is going to finish in the 29th spot. David Moyer is going to bring it home in 30th, and the last 3 finishers tonight will be Douglas Wasaki in 31st, Justin Miller in 32nd, and Rayshawn Winkfield rounding out the field. What an incredible night of racing here from the Fall Creek Plumbing National Series. We hope that you enjoyed all the action that you saw tonight. Thank you so much for tuning into the chat tonight. We had a lot of people tuning in. We're hoping that our teammate Ellis Thomas will be back next week. We anticipate that he will. Thank you so much, Ricky LaFleur, Kenny Cucko, Alex Pollock for chiming in, Connor Lines. Thank you so much for everybody, Ricky LaFleur, all of you for tuning in and bringing all the entertainment to the chat tonight. We definitely appreciate your support. And hey, if you liked what you saw tonight, you can tune in for some more racing here on Slingshot TV. On Monday night, it'll be race 4 in the UD Awards National Series from the Slingshot Racing League. Johnny, you and Justin are going to call the action at Kentucky. What are your thoughts heading into the night at Kentucky?
Well, after a fully green race at Iowa, Kentucky's definitely going to be a little bit of a shakeup. Mile and a half. Those cars are probably going to be a little tighter together. But it's definitely a unique track in that sense, and it's going to be a lot of fun to watch. And hey, maybe you'll see a certain Chris Smith get the win.
I got a rebound. I had some internet issues at Iowa, unfortunately, on Monday night, and we got to make up some ground in the points. So yeah, hopefully we can have a decent night at Kentucky. And then Wednesday night, you'll see the Stand Up Fight Series Invitational Cup. Heading to Indianapolis. It's been a minute since the Slingshot Racing League raced around the famed Brickyard, but it's gonna be interesting to see those Gen 4 cars take the 2.5 mile rectangular shaped story track. So looking forward to getting those cars out there. And Johnny, you mentioned before, no cautions at Iowa Monday night. just one caution last night at Charlotte for the stand-up fight series. So that's shaping up to be a great series as well.
It absolutely is. It's always a lot of fun. It's fun to get out there and race those cars around. I think Indy is going to be a blast.
Yeah, and you can catch Johnny racing in that, along with several of the other drivers that you see on Monday night. Also, that will be brought to you by Sky, Sal, and Kobe. They'll be bringing you all the action here on Slingshot TV, and then you can catch all the action in the Fall Creek Plumbing National Series for race number 32 at Martinsville, coming up next Thursday night for our final race, the round of 8, and we decide who our championship 4 are gonna be heading into the final race. Johnny, great night of action tonight. Thank you so much for all of your hard work and all of your effort. And I think that's going to do it for us here from Slingshot TV. This has been Chris Smith, Johnny Rapp for Slingshot TV. This has been the United Rentals 250 at Talladega. So long. We'll see you next time.
You know, sometimes this life can get rough. You get knocked down, but you gotta get up. Keep going. I done been knocked down 1,000 times. Yeah, I traveled around 1,000 miles. Feel so tired, but you know I can't stop now. Can't wait too soon. Throw in the towel. It ain't looking real good, but I won't give up. Pac said that I gotta keep my head up, so I ain't going nowhere. Yeah, I'm standing right here. Demons all around, but I ain't got no fear. But it's roots too deep. I'm on my feet, the underdog.